You know what time of the year it is. March Madness is approaching, so I have to scratch that college basketball itch. And my bright idea is rebuilding the worst team in the game until we win a national championship. The problem, though, is even though I've mastered college football, when it comes to college basketball, I forget how to do rebuilds in these games because I play them 1 month a year. So taking over Mississippi Valley State, the worst team in the game, until we win a national championship could be impossible. In fact, the only team they have beat in real life when I'm filming this video is Mississippi University for women. Who is that? Who could that even be? When I say Mississippi Valley State is bad at basketball, it is not an exaggeration. This is what their record has been over like the last decade plus. So in my first time loading up College Hoops 2K8 in a year, let's see if I can figure out how to rebuild the worst team in the game. It's a little scary. I've been getting older, but I do feel a little bit better about my age because I can't even put myself as a 23-year-old coach. And I'm telling you right now, College Hoops 2K8 was way ahead of its time. You might think that this is going to feel very outdated, and parts of it probably will, but right now we are hiring our assistant coaches, and this is probably a bad idea, but I'm going to try and get us invited to the Great Alaska Shootout. This is a preseason tournament. It conflicts with our scheduled games. It just had a cool name. Unfortunately, I don't think we're good enough to get in any of those tournaments. I don't think it was a schedule conflict. We don't have that many non-conference ones, and there is a period where we could go into these high school basketball games to really check out some of these prospects. We're just going to go past it. The reason being is I think we're going to be bad for a long time, and we're not going to have a great chance at getting good prospects out of high school either way. If we look at our starting roster, Floyd Roy, a senior shooting guard, is our best player, but outside of that, we only have 9 players. I think one of them is a walk-on, and our shooting guard, who is supposed to be good, has a 68 three-pointer. He's not going to be able to hit anything. I mean, if we just check out our rotation, we have a 59 overall point guard starting, a 54 overall power forward starting. So I think we're just going to lose a lot of games. We're going to set our recruiting priority to shooting. It's something I like to focus on, and that is where you get a ton of depth in this game. You can recruit players as freshmen in high school all the way up until they graduate and actually have to commit somewhere. You could also go after JUCOs, which we'll probably do. But my favorite part is you don't just go after prospects in the US. You also have the option to go after international players. So if there's any that have a lot of interest in us that aren't 1 or 2 stars, maybe this 3-star shooting guard from Cameroon, we want him. The final little nod I'll give to this game before we get too deep into this rebuild, trying to win it all, is as you collect trophies, your trophy room that you get to walk around in will fill up, so you can track all your history through this. But we are already getting hit with some really bad news. I didn't even know this was possible. Our Midnight Madness, which is our preseason scrimmage, got canceled because our team didn't have enough players for it. That is right. We have 10 scholarships available, so we're basically replacing this entire team headed into next season, a team that's not going to be very good in the first place. I want there to be 3 stars at the very least interested. We might have to just recruit 2 stars. And don't let any of this interest stuff be misleading. If you see a 54% on a 5-star, he doesn't actually want to come here. I have learned this lesson before. I remember one thing from last year is even when there's like a 60% chance of getting a 4-star, you're probably not getting him. I also think it's a lot cheaper to recruit players if you look for stuff like local because they're a lot closer by, so that's also something we need to focus on. We're not the only person that recruits. Our assistant coaches can help out if they have better grades. And I think during the ABL circuit where we were able to see some of the high school players perform, we've unlocked some scouting on a couple of these guys. So like Spanky Forte, he's going to be the center that we want. We have a decent chance at winning this battle. And off rip, we aren't just doing stuff like requesting his game tape. We are visiting him at his home. Another neat feature about this game that was ahead of its time was there's a preview show, and every single week it'll recap stuff that happens around the country. Now, I can't say it's the most engaging or most entertaining thing to watch, but it does give you an idea of what's going on around the country, and whenever you're going to make it to the tournament, it's a cool show to see. Of course, there's no way we're going to be featured on this in any way. We are the worst team in the country, but one day we will get there. Spanky Forte, the center that we want, it is time to offer him a scholarship. We're currently sitting in first place. We're going to invite him to visit our campus early on. And I will admit, even after saying that you shouldn't go after 4 stars, you're not going to win that battle, I still put one on our board. But as you can see, we aren't going to come close to this one, so we can get rid of Charlton. And as we come up on our first game of the season, it is an in-state opponent. We're going to Ole Miss. Now, once we get to our conference tournament, I feel like that's the important time for us to start hopping into games. For now, we just are simulating, and the Rebels only beat us by 5. So that actually has me feeling pretty good. As you can see on Spanky Forte, the center that we wanted, we are pretty much just locking him up. There's also this point guard out of high school from Syracuse that's ranked 150th in the class that if we offer him a scholarship, I think we could be in the mix. So with our final couple hours to spend this week, that's what we're going to do. And we're just going to keep on simulating through most of the year. We did pick up 2 wins, one against Northern Arizona, one of them against Air Force. So that's got me feeling good, and the first time these players can choose to sign with a school is coming up in a week. As you can see on Freddie Yates, we're in first place, but we are barely beating out Cornell. We'll continue to visit him at his home and do as much as we can. But ultimately, I don't think he's going to sign with us like Spanky Forte just did. For him to actually make his decision, it's probably going to take most of this season. And what becomes so hard about these battles is if he does better in high school ball, his overall ranking in the class will change, plus these other schools might not have maxed out their home visits or campus tours yet. We've already maxed out those options. Then when it comes to all these international players, the only thing we can do because they're international is we can offer a phone call up and we can send them an email every week. There also isn't as much that we can find out about them. There's no high school stats to view. We can barely scout. But for example, this small forward from Poland, all he cares about is getting good coaching, which I don't know if we can offer, but he also wants to feel wanted. That is his #1 priority. That means as long as we're calling him on the phone every week, I think he's gonna feel wanted. And to my surprise, I know it's not gonna look like it when you see all these L's on the screen, but the year went better than I thought. I thought we were going to be at the bottom of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, but that wasn't the case. In fact, we finished 7th out of 10 teams, so I think that's enough to make our conference tournament. And the SWAC is a conference of HBCU schools. I feel like you should have been able to pick up on that after you see a Jackson State, an Alabama State. I just really like all the information that you can find on this game. This is stuff I would like in College Football 27, where we can see who scored the most points per game in our conference. We can see the best scorer, and that was McElroy. Look at that. Floyd Roy, our player, is the best prospect from this conference to go pro. He was also the best overall player. So that had me wondering what type of numbers Floyd put up, but it was just 10.2 points per game. We didn't really have that many assists from anybody on this team. In fact, a lot of these stats are really bad. But the important thing is we have made our conference tournament, and we're going to be playing against Jackson State. Now, we are dealing with one injury. Garrett Giddens has a broken finger, so he's not going to be there for this matchup. We could leave him out there, but I'm honestly thinking about just playing Blake instead, who is 1 overall higher. And I completely forgot this was a feature. There are also pep talks in this game. You get 10 of them a season. You can boost up your players' confidence, so we're going to do that ahead of this matchup. Our guys are ready. I don't care that Jackson State went 20-12. I don't care that they are the higher overall team. This is our chance to get a win with Mississippi Valley State, and I hope we can do it for the Delta Devils. And this game is brought to you by Vuori, today's video sponsor. As a guy, when it comes to clothes, I really just want stuff that's comfortable. So Vuori has been a perfect find that matches what I want. They are my go-to for comfy clothes. I wear their Ponto Performance jogger to almost every college game. But it was about time that I started to explore other options that they have on their site. And I'll tell you what, this Beach Fleece Crew has become my favorite shirt. It is so soft, which is great for filming rebuilds, but obviously, when I go to the gym, I can't wear this, which is why I explored even more. This is the Stratotech tee. It is very lightweight, and I love that because if I could, I'd just work out shirtless. And I also had to see what the long sleeve version of that was like, which is the exact same thing. It is such a light material, which is vastly different from stuff like this Beach Fleece Crew. Then the Ponto Performance tee is what I find perfect for lounging around in while watching football. So in conclusion, there's a ton of versatility on Vuori's end to fit your needs perfectly. Their clothes are designed for movement, built for life, and I'd recommend using the first link in my description or the QR code that is up on the screen to see what they have on there. See if there's anything that fits what you like to wear. And if you're a first-time purchaser, you now receive 20% off your first purchase if you just sign up for their emails. So I'd do that. Thank you to Vuori for sponsoring this game we're getting back to. I know I raved about this gameplay, at least compared to NCAA Basketball 10, but I haven't played in a year, so I'm going to be awful. And so far, haven't seen anything too worrisome out of their offense. We force the steal, we get it up the court, and our point guard had to have gotten fouled. If we could just win one game in this tournament, that'd be enough to make me happy. But I forgot how to shoot free throws. This is not a good start. I think it's with the right stick. We actually got a pretty solid crowd out here for this game as well. Perfect release, first team on the board. And I have this on the second hardest difficulty, so there's going to be a lot of challenge in it. Now, we are playing on just 6-minute quarters, or else I would be doing this rebuild for the next 2 weeks. I have a feeling this is probably going to take like 20 years to have a team competitive enough to even compete for a national championship, if that's possible, but we got a long way to go. One of the bars you want to watch is that one next to their name. Minard is clearly a three-point shooter, though we couldn't get him the ball here. If that bar is full, they can shoot from there. That's what one of you all told me in the comments off of the last video. And I gotta say, early on, I am just getting decimated. Now, this team isn't that good in the first place, but I'm just not good at the game either. It took us almost half of the first half to even hit a jump shot, and I can't believe they missed that. Got the board. That's a swat. All right, now we got our star player, Roy, trying to get to the hoop here. We know he can't shoot threes. I mean, this is just ridiculous. ISO ball is not for him, but eventually he gets a little bit open to miss. You just wait until we get in our guys from like Cameroon and Poland, though. That is when we're going to have our roster. We will build our identity off of international players, and we're missing the open three. There was definitely a lot of turnovers in this first half, but just missing shots like that is frustrating. And I can't say that Jackson State's that good of a team, but we literally just aren't able to score. And why are we taking jump shots with our center? Listen, I know the gameplay is going to be a little bit rough until I get a good feel for it. They called a foul to end this half on us too, but just trust, we have a lot to build up from still, and they're not even hitting their shots. As we try to end this first half with more than 3 points, we miss the wide open three. But nobody on our team has any bars of service. That's what I'm going to call it, which lets us know if they have a decent chance at making any shots on the court. We're literally shooting 9% from the field, but look at this. I love how the halftime adjustments look on this game. We're just bringing our offensive tempo up, and we actually got the crowd on our side here, but as they're chanting defense, they hit a shot. I have to say, not looking great for us, but we throw up the tray, and even if that rimmed out, we got it on the fast break, and we're finally back on the board. The problem is, even when I've started to get more comfortable, so have they. They've scored a lot more. So if they find another bucket here, they're going to hit 30 before we hit 10, and that just can't happen. Our teams will get better over time. For now, we are just hoping for the best. It drops, and then they go down the court and hit a layup. We also just got a couple steals and buckets recently, so don't count us out of this game yet. We throw it down on their heads. I don't care if we lose. This highlight play alone is enough to get me going. With 2 minutes left, we are down by 11, so we need to force some steals, mistakes, quick shots. That's an and one for that. And I think Jackson State is going to take this. The good news is I'm hoping this is the worst team that we ever put on the court. That's another dunk. I'm starting to see the vision on Floyd Roy and why he is the best chance to go pro out of the SWAC. But he's a senior, so this is the last time that he ever steps on the court for us. We're going to try and get one last bucket with him. It doesn't go in. And Jackson State ended up winning this one 41-21. Unfortunately, they had a freshman that won player of the game, so he's going to be around for a while. Jackson State ended up beating the best team in our conference, and then they won the conference championship. I don't feel as bad about our loss anymore. They got a 15 seed in the tournament. We'll see how they did in a sec. Memphis won it all. And I guess we also have to see some of our graduates before we can even look at what happened in the tournament. Looks like Menard's gone. That was our best three-point shooter. We're also losing our starting center. We're basically losing a starting lineup. And I'm actually going to bring in a couple assistants that can fill some of the gaps I'm not good at. For offense and defensive coaching, we're going to get Blue. For our other assistant coach, we want somebody with high charisma, so that's what we found. But we didn't get any transfers. There was only one transfer in the entire country. He went to Western Kentucky. This was a fully different time period in college sports. Anyway, it looks like Jackson State got in as a 15 seed. That's probably what we're going to get if we can ever make the tournament in the first place. They lost by 31 to Texas A&M. It's going to be very hard to win a national title at this school, but I have to have some faith that we're going to be able to do it, and off-season recruiting has started. The first bit of news that we got, though, was point guard Freddie Yates, the other kid out of high school that we were targeting, decided to sign with Cornell instead of us. He must be really smart. So we're just going to have to sit here and try and get 9 different international players to sign for Mississippi Valley State. Can you imagine their reaction to their first spot in the United States that they get to see being Mississippi? Now, I'll be the first to admit, I've never been to the state. Maybe there are some nice areas. Maybe Mississippi Valley State is in a good area. I just don't think it is. But this is where I get curious about all these schools I use in these videos, and I looked up their campus. I actually mess with their campus heavy. There's a couple ponds on there. It looks really nice. At some point, though, we need these guys to start committing. I can tell probably 4 or 5 of them are. For the rest of them, I don't think we can win them over in just a couple week time frame, which means we're going to have a lot of spots on our roster not full again. But a big reason for that is we still only have the resources to send emails and give phone calls to these international prospects. Finally, though, we do start to get some pop-ups of these long last names I don't know how to pronounce signing with our school. And for these final 5 international prospects, I think we get the top 3 guys, but I don't think we pick up Fernando Colin from Brazil, and I also don't think we're getting Bennett Thompson from the Bahamas. We still still have a couple backups that we could go with, like this JUCO guard. I don't think we want him though, and that's because we literally can't figure out anything about him. On National Signing Day, if we don't get our last couple international prospects, we'll just use those scholarships next year, but Fernando Colon did choose us, and we came up just short on Bennett Thompson. I guess he's not going to go anywhere. We still put a ton of work in though. We signed 9 3-stars in this class. We had to have a huge class. I'm just glad that we got 9 players. That's as many guys as were on our team last year, and let's take a look at this roster for the very first time. It looks like Spanky Forte is a 73 overall. That's just as good as the senior shooting guard we just lost, so that was a really good pickup out of high school. And what I'm hoping for is to see a high potential on some of these international players, to see a 3-point shot that looks really good, but for most of them, their potential is actually pretty low. For our rotation, this could change over time, but for now, this is what we're going to be rolling with. We are starting 5 true freshmen. For the few players that return to this team, they're basically not getting on the court. And I actually think it's important that we release them from the team so we can get some of those scholarships back. It is just wild to me as I sit here and look at our roster to have our 9 best players all be true freshmen, and for most of them to be from other countries in Europe, Oceanic region, Africa. We're built from all over the globe, and using these pep talks wisely is going to be very crucial if these freshmen are going to believe in themselves. As we move over to recruiting, for the other guys on our roster that aren't true freshmen, there are 3 seniors, so with them graduating and 1 extra scholarship available, we have 4 scholarships to give to these guys. Now, there aren't that many good prospects interested originally. Maybe we look at Snyderman. He's a 6'10" power forward out of Memphis. That actually sounds amazing. And I don't know whose bright idea it was for us to open up the season at Kansas, but I like to see that we're a 75 overall team, just 21 team unity. That is something that is going to have to go up over time, but I think we have a pretty good year in conference play. We beat Kansas in the first game. There is no shot. It also turns out Colin from Brazil ended up being our 2nd leading scorer in this matchup. Just tracking that, we got 2 guys with the same last name. Did we get some brothers? I think we might have. They're not just both from Africa. They are both from Cameroon. So this is such a neat story. We got both of these brothers to commit to our team, and that's something that they would have put in this game back then. Just for that, James and Chris are going to be starting with each other for this entire season. And on the recruiting front, DeAnthony Snyderman is very close to choosing a school. Right now, we are just edging out UTM. I don't know who that is, but what I do know is we've already used some of our big visits, and I don't think phone calls and emails are going to win. The problem is we had 4 games this week, so there was no room for any visits, but up until that one against San Diego State, we were 3-0. But I have some bad news. For all 4 of these battles, we have fallen into 2nd place or worse. As you can see, for these bottom 2 prospects, we don't stand a chance, but now Radford's passed us up, UTM's passed us up for DeAnthony, and so we got to come with some heavy hitters. We're going to visit these recruits at their home. There's also other stuff that is not going well for our program. As you can see, 3 players are unhappy, and if we don't boost our confidence, they're going to want to transfer. While at the same time, Spanky Forte, our starting center, got injured for 19 days. Back to players wanting to transfer though, all 3 of these guys are seniors, so I'm not too worried about it. What's more important to me is we keep around the true freshmen that aren't getting as many minutes. That's why pep talks matter, and ever since we started the season extremely strong, we have lost 6 straight games. I don't know how this team was able to beat Kansas. And then it's important to point out that we did get DeAnthony Snyderman to choose our school, but Warren Ross is at 99%. He isn't going to sign anywhere, which is unfortunate because at the moment we had the lead on Radford. Then when he had one final chance to choose a school, he broke our heart and decided on Radford instead. And I do have a couple other prospects that we're interested in. They're international. We'll see if we sign them. One of them is James Ngonu. I have to learn how to say his last name before I butcher it, because we could potentially have 2 of the same name on our team. And apparently this is French. How you say his last name, it is James Ngonu. We cannot forget that. We have Chris and James Ngonu on our roster. For some of these other long international names from Europe, there is no way I'm learning that. And I wish these guys would just stop complaining and graduate already. You're not going to get the playing time that you want. Now, I have to say, headed into conference play, I wasn't too happy with where this team was sitting. But once we got there, especially in our first 5 games, we started off extremely strong, and I think by the time we get to the end of the season, we're going to be one of the top few teams in the conference, but we lost some of those games, and that hurts. If we just finished a little bit stronger, we could have had the 2 seed in the conference tournament. Instead, we're going to have the 3 seed and have to face off against the 6 seed, who's probably Prairie View. Though So it turns out it's actually Alabama A&M. Jackson State just had an incredible year, like last season, probably the best team in our conference. I don't know why they were such a low seed. I mean, they went 24-4, and they also averaged 76 points per game. Did we have any good players ourselves, though? That's what we're looking for. Forte had 2.2 steals per game, or 2.7 blocks per game. That's what I was mixing up. We gotta look at our team stats. It turns out he was our leading scorer with just 8.9 points per game. So we still aren't doing that well in sim whenever it comes to having a workable offense. But I think I have found the reason for a lot of our struggle at the end of the year. 3 of the 9 true freshmen that we have out on the court are injured for a very long time. And that's going to greatly affect our odds in this conference tournament, where we're just going to simulate until we end up eventually making it to the conference championship. That's my goal. We found out last season that me hopping into games is the worst thing that we could do. But eventually, I will need to figure out how to win on here. Are we going to beat Alabama A&M in this first matchup? They smoked us by 24. Injuries really held us back. You know what, though? This is a great learning experience for this very young team. Jackson State lost in the first round, by the way. It is Southern that made the tournament as a 16. And I think it's just starting to dawn on me how challenging it's going to be to win it all out of this conference. At least we know all of our best players are returning. All of these guys complained that they weren't getting on the court. And compared to last season, we did get a few wins better. I don't know why our record over the course of our career, though, is so wrong. I don't know where all these wins come from. It doesn't make much sense to me. We also have no attribute points to upgrade for the second season in a row. I think we have to win the conference to have a chance at upgrades. And where are our good transfers coming in? This is ridiculous. There were actually a lot of good players in the portal, but we got nobody. It is completely random. We don't even get a chance to pitch on anybody, but sometimes we will randomly get assigned a player if we're lucky. These 2 guys internationally that we're going after, we have 0 competition on, but we still have 1 extra scholarship available, and I'm just looking around at some of these 4-stars. I want to see if there's schools going after. For example, I found Reggie Warsaw, and it looks like nobody else wants him. I don't care what he has done. We're going to do our best to land him. And my expectation for all these 4-stars we just threw on our board at the last second is other schools are going to enter into the mix, which they have on 3 of these guys, but the 4th player, Timothy Dillon, nobody seems to want this point guard. I just figured out why, though. He's a point guard from Australia. We're not going to be able to win him over in this time frame. But do you know who we have a very legitimate chance of winning over? Cody Babcock. For whatever reason, Syracuse hasn't offered him a scholarship yet. He's the 96th best player in the country. We are going all in. And he averaged 13.5 points per game in high school. We don't know much about his attributes, but he just wants to feel wanted. He wants to be close to home. He's from Ohio, so that's pretty far away from Mississippi. He's also not going to be playing at a big program. But we can do the biggest pitch that we have this week. We can invite him to visit our campus, and this is why it's good to have an assistant coach that has higher charisma than we do. I swear, if we land a 4-star prospect at Mississippi Valley State in season 2, that is just nuts. And we didn't just pull that off. We also signed our second James Onganu from Cameroon. We have another one. It must just be a very common name over there. If we look at other teams inside our conference, some of the classes that they're signing, they're bringing in 3 stars. That's something to worry about. A lot of these teams, though, just signing mainly 2 stars, which means we should be able to beat them out in the long run. And look at some of the player progression that we're seeing headed into season 2. Not big overall jumps for a lot of these guys, but if you sign 4 stars like Cody Babcock, he comes in as a 77 overall. He's a freshman that will hopefully never transfer. But I have to say, his potential is only a C. He is a 65 3-pointer, so he's still not a player I get super excited about. The Onganu brothers are no longer both starting for us either, because Chris Onganu is our 12th lowest overall player now. He just didn't progress that much as a power forward, and DeAnthony Snyderman, who we brought in as a true freshman, will be starting instead. And it just hit me, with all the signings that we've been making, we have no scholarships to offer out to any of these players. Not like the guys interested in coming to our school are any good, but I don't have to do any recruiting until we either lose those guys to the portal or they graduate. With that in mind, I think we're literally just going to simulate this entire year. Our team is up to a 78 overall, but our team unity isn't great. We'll see how we open up the year against Nicholls State. They beat us by 7. And I'm not kidding. We're simulating straight to March 6th. We'll see what our record is. It gives me time to run up, go to the bathroom, and then come back. I wasn't too sure what type of situation I was going to return to, but right now we are 13-11, so it seems like we're going to finish the season above 500, but I might have spoke too soon. We're on a 2-game losing streak. We beat Grambling State, and this is what it comes down to. One matchup, we get the win. If we compare ourselves to the rest of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, we're finishing in 3rd place again. Jackson State is always going to be on top, I think. Over the last couple seasons, they've just been very good. Alabama A&M led the country in points per game. That was who knocked us out of the conference tournament last season. Jackson State, lots of stat leaders here. But we had the best overall player with our true freshman. He was a 4-star. He was always going to come in and dominate. Cody Babcock, how do we see your stats, buddy? 10.5 points per game. He's also getting a good amount of rebounds for a shooting guard, 3.1 assists. And look at the step up as well from center Spanky Forte. He's now a sophomore, 12 points per game, 7 rebounds per game. He's listed as the best pro prospect in our conference. So as we head into our conference tournament, to see that we have no injuries is incredible. And I have to set our lineup based on how guys are performing on the court. We got 3 guys averaging double-digit points per game. That's huge because last season, I think we had 0. And I think this is going to be the best starting 5 that we can put on the court for this tournament. If we look at this tournament tree, we got Alabama State in the first round. I think we can handle them. But I hope I didn't speak too prematurely on that. Our team unity is still only up to a 45. As I try and think back on some of the rebuilds we did last year, I think scheme mattered. We haven't really adjusted that yet, and team unity also mattered quite a bit. We're going to survive by 2. And that moves us on to the semifinal where we got to take on Alabama A&M. Considering in our conference they score the most points per game, I think they're going to run us off the court. We have made a couple adjustments though. We're going to stay with our zone defense. We're going to hope that that helps. And if we can win this game, I'm ready to hop into our conference championship with a spot in the NCAA tournament on the line. I will say I don't like the hoop cast in this game as much as I like the simulation on NCAA Basketball 10. I just think it's a little bit better for simulating. You don't go straight to the end. We lose by 5. But you know what? As I'm sitting here looking at these stats, I can see the one difference maker right now, and it has to do with our youth. We had 17 turnovers while they only had 9. That at least gives me some hope that next year we could win our conference. But in order to do that, we're going to have to improve. We only have a couple pep talks left to use, which worries me a lot actually, because we have guys that are most likely going to transfer. And I don't think I saved them the way that I should have. Here's what we got to start looking at though. I don't know why it's been slipping my mind. We got to look at some of these awards because even if we're not going to be in the player of the year, mid-major player of the year, maybe we come up on at some point. And most importantly, there are conference awards. Now, Jackson State won the regular season title. I don't think they made the tournament. I don't remember them doing that at least. Their coach won conference coach of the year. I'm hoping he just takes a bigger job at some point. Conference player of the year goes to Benny Cornett. Arkansas Pine Bluff has had a couple of good players and teams come through. But we had the best freshman in this conference. Spanky Forte was a first-team all-conference player. And the best part is we have 0 players graduating while our record gets a little bit better every season. We also get to boost one attribute. I actually want to focus on teaching. This is how our players are going to develop. And it seems like we're still not getting any transfers in. Maybe one of these days we'll get lucky, but it's not something to rely on. I actually like to see Alabama A&M losing a 72 overall. And it also just hit me. We didn't lose a single player to the portal. Our team unity has to go up because we have no scholarships still. We're not going to be able to bring anybody new in. And I finally figured out how to work this customized schedule. We took some of our harder games off of it. We put the Great Alaska Shootout on there. So I am pumped up for this season. I'm still not spending any time on the ABL, especially since we can't sign any players this year. I mean, what am I supposed to do with 0 scholarships? It's just not fun to not be able to recruit at all. Not that there are many players I want to sign anyway. And look at that. We're starting to see some of these guys as they reach their junior year develop up to 75 plus overalls. Still seeing a lot of them float around a 70 though. And I almost have to consider if they're not moving up that much, are we just going to end up cutting them? If a potential's a C, I feel like you got to keep around a C potential. It's guys like Lucas Jerkzak who have a D potential and they're a 68 overall that I don't know if we keep. And I think if we go from having 9 players in our rotation to 10, that's going to be enough to keep around a lot of these players from wanting to transfer. Apparently, our team unity is only going to be 43, but we're an 80 overall. Marist is better than I thought they'd be. And I see that the Great Alaskan Shootout is going to be against Kansas. I'm no longer looking forward to that tournament. I thought it was going to be something a little bit easier. Are we going to win our first game before we simulate the year? We lose by 8. I think I've already seen enough, though. For the second season in a row, we beat Kansas. I don't know how our team is capable of winning games like that. And then we turn around and lose to Nevada. We lose to UNLV. We finished non-conference play 7-5, so I think we're going to be above 500 again if we can just get through this conference slate as well as we have been. For our mid-season check-in, Patrick is injured, but he's only out on a sprained ankle, so he'll be back really soon. And I just realized 4 of our 5 players from Africa are all from Cameroon. Cameroon outside of Arnaud Dahi. He's from Ivory Coast. He's the 7-foot center freshman we redshirted last year. He has B- potential, so I think he'll be really good in the future. He just has to wait for Spanky Forte to graduate, though, for him to really get his time, which is why we're going to give him pep talks if we don't want him to transfer. As you can see, we're letting Luca get upset. Lucas, not Luca, whatever this kid's name is, 75 three-pointer. Hang on, do we want him to transfer? He's the best three-point shooter this team has. Well, look at that. We get to the end of this season, winning a lot of these games in our final month. We actually finished with a 23-7 record. So I have a feeling that in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, we're going to be the #1 team, and we are. Jackson State has fallen off. This is good news for us. They went 15-13. They still went 13-5 in conference play. There's also some really bad teams like Alcorn State, but we averaged the most points per game in the conference, 78.8. We had the most assists per game, so our team unity should be going up. I'm just a little surprised that we didn't have any individual stat leaders, but maybe it's because we played as a team really well. This is also just a neat view for us to check out in the future, because we'll be on here as the regular season champions, and I cannot believe Spanky Forte had 17.9 points per game this season. It really is all about your center. That's the most important position I think you can recruit on this game, and he is showing us why. I remember seeing his potential wasn't that high. I didn't get too excited about him, but we're going to use him a lot if we get to the conference championship. And think, he was just a 3-star. He was the 248th best player in his class. Those are guys that we can find consistently. Now, the national stat leader is putting up almost 27 points per game, so we do have a lot of work to do if we want to ever compete on a national level, but I feel like getting to the tournament isn't that difficult. All we have to do is win 3 games, and we should have the best roster to do it. I want to turn Mississippi Valley State into the Gonzaga of the SWAC conference, and Grambling went 5-22 this season. If we lose in the first round to them, I'm going to be incredibly upset. There's just no reason we should be losing this game. There's no way. Look at those stats. We shot 12.5% from 3. That's actually unbelievable. I'm not even excited that we've been selected for the NIT tournament. I was ready to hop in and play a conference championship game. Maybe we can get there next year. Looking at our spot in the NIT, we have to play Ohio in the first round, and we're probably going to lose. They're coming into this game as a 75 overall. We just lost to a team that went 5-22. But I have a new theory. What if we simulate this way? What if we don't simulate through that hoopcast thing? Oh, we're going to lose either way. We lost this one 83-58. There is absolutely nothing I even care to check out at this point. It should have been us that wasn't just the regular season conference champion in our conference. Conference coach of the year goes to Jackson State. Conference player of the year goes to a kid on Alabama A&M. And if you look at first team all conference, we only had 1 player with Spanky Forte here. I'm not sure we were as good as I thought. My contract was renewed for 6 more years, and we have no players leaving this roster once again, but that's because we went 23-9. We get a couple attribute upgrades, which means we are immediately boosting our teaching up to an A+. And I don't even think it's worth mentioning every season at this point that we got nobody in the portal. With no scholarships to offer to any of these players, we're just going to get to next season. But that's when our recruiting has to start back up again. I think we're going to have like 6 or 7 seniors. I mean, it's going to be rough out here. 3 of our best 4 players are going to be graduating at the end of the year. Because of some redshirts, we'll be able to retain some of this talent for a little bit longer, but guys like Fernando Colon, it's also his senior year. And his potential is what held him back at just a 71 overall. If somebody is D potential, we shouldn't keep them around in the future. Looking at this rotation, we got 3 guys above a 78 overall. It's just our small forward and power forward positions that are our weakest. I wish we could get a little bit better there. So maybe we need to move guys around to see if that helps out something. I haven't had to try this yet, but what if we made someone like a shooting guard a small forward? It could actually help. Linus is now at that position. He's going to have a 74 three-pointer, and I think he's better than Fernando Colon. That was one of the weakest spots on our offense last year as well. We kept having to give him pep talks because he had no confidence. With those decisions out of the way, we got to start finding some guys at different positions, and these 3 stars have a lot of interest. That's actually incredibly useful to see, especially somebody like Mike Ravello, who's a small forward ranked 111th in his class. He's basically a 4-star. After a couple weeks, when it comes to the list of players that I have built out for our 4 scholarships, we have a 4-star point guard we're in the running for. None of these teams have offered him a scholarship. I have a feeling at some point one of them will, but my hope is that never happens. We also are in the running for some 3 stars that are all ranked in the top 153 nationally. The ranking is the most important thing you can look at for these 3 stars. We're still in first place for Mike Ravello, so I am starting to get some hope there. Our team unity's up to 60. We have an 83 overall team, and that's why if we're still losing to programs like Gardner Webb in this opener, I'm going to be really disappointed. We dropped 102 points. Even if we lose to Mississippi State, I can already tell that we're in for a huge season. Linus got injured though, and that is not good. At least it's not one that's going to be for long. Are we still in first place on Mike Ravello? No, we've been jumped by Southern Miss, and this is the problem. The second other teams enter these battles and they offer scholarships, we almost have to pull out. Like, I know we're not going to be able to compete for most of them. But this can be a good thing. If you pull out of 1 point guard, then the 4-star is going to like us more because we're not offering scholarships to 2 point guards. Now, I do think I should mention that we lost to Kansas this season, so our magic is gone. I still don't know how we'd been beating them. And by the looks of it, we're not going to get Leighton Moy at point guard. Even though we're the only team that's offered a scholarship, we're also not in first place for Mike Ravello. But we just have to hope for the best. We're going to email, we're going to give phone calls. We might even make sure there are no small forwards on our roster. In fact, that's the best thing we can do. We're going to make him feel like he is special for a week and see if that helps him commit. I feel like I remember that being something that could help. We're about to find out who he's decided to sign with, and he still decided to choose Southern Miss. So I definitely just wasted my time changing positions around. We also picked up a loss because of it, and that is clearly something we will not be able to rely on again. We're not going to close out on Leighton Moy either, which is really bad because the 4-star is going to find other schools and get other scholarship offers throughout the year that he'd rather attend. I guess the good news for us is we know there's always going to be some 3-star international players floating around that we can sign. And you know what? Even if we're not signing 4-stars with Mississippi Valley State, we shouldn't be anyway. And the best thing we can do to even have a chance at getting them in the off-season recruiting period is just win a ton of games this season. Considering we have finished this season with a worse record than last year and we lost 3 of our last 5 games, I'm scared to check the injury report. I just have a feeling on here we're going to see some big names that are injured, and that's not just 1 starter, it's 2 starters. If Spanky Forte isn't playing in the conference tournament, there is no way we win. Luckily, there were 4 days before we take on Alabama A&M, and it looks like we did finish in first place. We'll have to check the tournament to make sure we got the 1 seed, but I think we should have. We averaged the most points per game in conference play, the most assists per game, the most steals per game, not the most blocks. We also aren't going to have any stat leaders individually, but as long as we're playing as a team, I really don't care. Spanky Forte scored about as many points per game as he did the year before. Cody Babcock never could get more than like 10 to 12. I can't say I love the distribution there. Looks like we'd get Jackson State in the semifinal if we win. And it's literally Alabama A&M. If we can't beat the 8 seed, we wouldn't deserve to move on. We scored 127. This team is hungry. This is exactly what I want to see. Who had the most points for this game? 127 as a team? Not only did Forte come back healthy, but he was on fire. And if he can play like that again, I really have no worries against Jackson State at all. We just won by 2. Here's where my fear lies, though. We are going up against Prairie View, who's 13-15 this season. And I really don't know if I'm good enough to win a conference championship game. I mean, we have an 85 overall team, so I'd like to think so, but you saw the 1 game I've hopped into so far. I've been waiting for this moment. And let's look at their roster. They got a few seniors out there, just like we do. But I have a plan, and it is going to be feeding Forte down low. Go ahead and let that one roll in. It is so crucial to have a really good big man. If you want to have success, he gets the block there as well. This team's so much better than the last one that we played with. And sure enough, we're just going to swing it out. Oh, that form's horrible. We still hit. Was the team that I was playing with the last time just that bad? Because we get another defensive stop. We're throwing it down the court. Go ahead. Get a foul or something. Let's go. We've come out hot. The free throw is in. And I've loved how we've opened this one up, but we've started to get sloppy. We almost gave up a 3. So we needed the lock back in. We needed Forte to just take it to the hoop, where he unfortunately couldn't put it in, and they just missed a layup. But they got the board. They keep on bringing everybody in to try and stop our drives, but we're not hitting our outside shots. So this game quickly got a little bit closer. I mean, that's a crazy dish. And apparently we fouled him too, so they get an and 1 play. They are definitely keeping up with us a lot better than how things were looking from the start. I mean, we are not ready to play against good teams. At least we're hitting some 3s. And I really just want to win our conference this year. If we can do that as a first step, it's something to build off of. I thought we had the steal. It's been our defense that has really done a great job at keeping us in it. I mean, we've only scored 13 points in this first half. If you want to see what I'm doing on offense, lots of drives, then we eventually kick. But it's been a problem trying to figure out some of these buttons, trying to dish it to whoever we want. Forte hasn't really made the impact that I wanted him to. Just take it up. Get a shot off. It's a foul. I'm assuming his free throw form isn't Great, he missed. But this angle isn't doing us any favors, and that one is going to also miss. However, he forced a steal. Very soon after, going down the court, we draw a foul. And there's our 4-star headed to the line, who also misses. Before these last free throws, I think I was like 5 of 6 from the line. And every point matters whenever you play on 6-minute halves. They're getting fouled too. Seems like they're also struggling to hit their free throws though. They missed one of them. We're gonna launch this ball down the court, try and catch it. Come on, get off a shot before the end of this half. No way that goes in. Okay, it's going to be 14-10 from the field. We're shooting a little bit better. But my number one key for this second half is just hit our open jump shots. Not a good start. In fact, if they got a three-pointer here, they'll tie it up. And after driving to the hoop, drawing a foul, they got 2 free throws. This is a 13-15 team competing with some of our super seniors. And it could be years before we have a senior class as good as this one. However, after forcing a steal, we're going down the court and we can get the bucket, no foul. But that's okay. We see exactly who they want to hit and they're going to miss. Just like that. We get free. We get a layup. And we're starting to apply some pressure. We're trying to double team. Come on, come on. Getting a jump ball there is huge. I don't know how to create motion. That's one thing I was a lot better at on NCAA Basketball 10. We just turned it over. That is such a wasted opportunity. What is that? Their center out here is going crazy. So now we need to give it to our center. Brings down so much attention every time. They're jumping all around. And I don't feel great about only being up by 4 at this point in the game. But we're pump faking and then just throwing it straight to him. 3 minutes left. Barber is going to get a jump shot. We gave it to him. And that was a risk I was willing to take. He didn't look like a shooter. How many turnovers are we going to have? This is the reason we've lost in past years in Sim. It could be the reason that we lose while playing. Because just like that, it's a 1-point game. They're pressing. We are all sorts of rattled. And Babcock goes to the hoop to draw a foul. All right, these are free throws we should be hitting. But this difficulty is getting to me. I have not gotten good at the game yet. However, we have a simple plan that should work. Get it to Forte, except sometimes he's getting outside the arc for no reason. And take a look at this move. That is just a masterclass. There is nothing more satisfying than just making good technical basketball plays out in the open court. Come on, at least a foul, at least 2 points. We're still only up by 4 with a minute and a half left. And they grab the board over our head, but we get the block. How? How do they still have it? I swear if this kid hits it, I swear. Okay, we're fine. We're also in the open court. We got 2 bars here. I was tempted to shoot. We're lucky that we didn't lose it. What we need to do is just get it to Forte. Double team. Can you stop him? No. However, they had a look at 3, and Forte grabs it over 3 guys. At some point, they are going to have to start fouling with 53 seconds left. But instead, they have forced 2 steals. We luckily just got 1 back. We missed our free throw though, so this game still not over. It's only a 4-point one. We have got to start hitting some of those shots. Thankfully, they're not either. Being in the bonus is such a hard spot, but thankfully, former 4-star recruit stepped up for one of these shots at least. Still up by 5, 10 seconds left. I think we're going to win the SWAC conference. Come on, no threes. That release has just been ugly this whole game. And apparently, with 0.4 seconds left, we fouled them on a jump shot, so they have got it within 3. But all we have to do is throw this ball in, and that's it. Mississippi Valley State wins the conference championship. What are we, 5 seasons into this now? I will take that. And we get to watch the Selection Sunday show as we find out what 1 seed we have to play. We're most likely a 16. If we get the play-in game, I'm actually going to be upset. I want to just be in the tournament first. But it's starting to seem like we could be in that play-in game. We weren't a 16 or 15 seed. However, maybe I was underestimating our roster because we are the 12 seed. We have to take on 5-seeded Houston. That's not bad. For being from our conference and losing 10 games, this is actually a great seed for us. And originally, I thought I was just going to simulate because I didn't think we stood a chance, but Houston is beatable. This is my first time in this rebuild having to face off against a roster that is the same overall as ours. The tip is going to go to the Cougars, and we just survived against a team that went 13-15, so it might get ugly really fast. If we're ever going to win a national championship in this video, though, I'm going to have to learn to play on this difficulty. That's a 3-pointer. We got to shoot those. I've been avoiding shots like that because it's only showed up as 1 bar, and I think we have like a 73-pointer on almost everybody on this team, but clearly we can hit, we can dunk, we can steal. And Mississippi Valley State has showed up to this game. If there's a foul on some reach-ins, that's fine. It also helps having a 6'11" power forward, like a 7-foot center. We got size on the court to compete with some of these teams. That shot is going to be off. And I thought that early on we were doing pretty well just based off of the way things looked. But then they started scoring with no problem. See, here's the thing. I'm still no good at offense. We're having turnovers all sorts of the time. So if they're going to be scoring with ease, we're not going to be able to keep up. I want to drive. We're not able to drive here. As you can see, we'll kick it out. That is not a three-point shooter. Not at all. Are open shots this hittable, though, or have we just gotten really lucky with a couple threes? I know the last time I played the college games, you all just said stop shooting so many three-pointers. So I haven't been doing that in this video so far, especially with our roster not being built out of three-point shooters. It's just, that's the only reason that we're even in this one at the moment. Another three-point shot is good. Hang on. We don't have the ratings for this. They clearly do. But we got an open layup here. And somehow that's getting blocked. I swear these guys are so unathletic. Get me some new recruits in here. I will say, flow-wise, this is the best game that we've had so far. There's actually scoring going on. But we just cannot foul in that situation and then give up the rebound. They almost got their points. Now, if there's one player that's not done too well so far, it is Forte. And I'm afraid that's going to be the difference. They're up by 9 right now. We needed him to have a big game. Maybe he can get something going here as we try and finish out this first half strong, but that has to be a steal. They're holding for the last shot. It's the smart thing to do here. I have to respect it, but why are we giving up an open three? Call a timeout. Call a timeout. That's good. We then advanced it to midcourt with another timeout. We're going to put an emphasis on shot selection, and I'm hoping this increases your odds of hitting a shot. You got to get something up here. It just wasn't a good look. Okay, 15-22. It could have been worse. But I'll tell you what, when they're shooting 64% from the field, when we have 4 turnovers to their 1, we can't be winning. To pull this upset off, we're going to need a near-perfect second half. And I don't like how our power forward stands out at the three-point line. That's something we got to change up in the future if we just don't have a shooter there. And honestly, if we can't start hitting more threes, we don't stand a chance. He was hitting in the first half, but his bars are low. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a good shot for him. There's no way they got a bucket out of that. We had good defense. We feed it to Forte. His spin move gets him a little post hook. And hang on, don't sleep on us yet. You just can't give that up. It's lazy defense. They're not allowing us to feed it to Forte either. Out in transition, 3-on-2. We're trying to watch that pass underneath. We slowed them down for a second. But ultimately, they still got another bucket, and they ran us down to force a miss there. I'm going to be real. As this half went on, this is a perfect example literally right there. The dumb mistakes just continued to get worse and worse. And we have missed more and more shots. I'm actually not a fan at all of our small forward. He's small, he is short, and he is not the best shooter. And his release is horrendous, but I can't say much about Babcock either. For being a 4-star shooting guard, he cannot shoot. It's unfortunate that this is going to be the final game for Forte in his career, but he still accomplished a good bit with Mississippi Valley State. He has laid the foundation for what future players are going to appreciate, hopefully. Let's just make the score not as bad at then. Nope, it's another turnover. I think we had like 15. Passing was our biggest weakness with this roster. But also, stopping this kid was a whole other thing. I mean, he just could not miss from 3. And it looks like Syracuse is going to win the national championship. Judging off of these overalls, those are the types of players we're going to have to win it all. Maybe even better than that, though, because I'm not that great at the game. Our roster was nowhere near good enough to win it all or come close this year. We always knew that, but as long as we can continue to build on this, we're not that far in. We still got plenty of time to grow. Jackson State had the Conference Player of the Year. He's going to return next season. He is a 7-2 center. And we just lost multiple very important players from this team to graduation. For the last 4 years, Spanky Forte has been our leading player on our team. But let's not forget about James Onganu the first. We still have another point guard with the same name on our team. This guy has been starting for 4 years as well. We also have to say goodbye to Linus. He's averaged almost 10 points per game every season. And then there's Fernando Colon. He's gotten worse every single single year. We also saw D'Anthony Schneiderman decide to transfer. It's the first time that a player is transferring away. But you know what? He didn't get the playing time that he liked. Our charisma's up to an A-. And we've actually lost one of our assistant coaches. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to bring in guys that are good at teaching. So we got a guy with A teaching. This guy's got A- charisma and B teaching. That's solid for me. And while we're still getting nobody in the transfer portal, while an 81 overall point guard heads over to UNLV, we got a lot to look forward to. Since we haven't gotten any players to sign yet, and we know that we're no longer getting Leighton Moy, 4-star point guard headed to Pitt, I'm not surprised. They offered him a scholarship later in the season. So once we pull that scholarship off, we're going to have 5 to offer around. And this is where I really get to figure out what our roster needs the most. We know we need a center and a power forward at the very least. I don't want to get a 6'9" center, but we might have to. Other schools are in the mix. Like, why is Kentucky in the mix for this kid from Senegal that's a 3-star? We've had him on our board. We're going to offer him a scholarship, but I'm annoyed for good reason, by the way, and we're going to take a shot with Jamar McCollum as a shooting guard. Not because I think we're going to get him. Auburn is clearly in the lead, but because if they don't offer him a scholarship, we're the only other team that'll be interested. That's my strategy headed into recruiting. I'm going to do my best to just find players that aren't being pursued by other schools as well. Like, I think we do have a shot at getting this 4-star power forward, but at the very least, if not some of those players, then some 3-star centers that are just flying under the radar. The longer recruiting goes on for, though, I don't know if I'm wasting my time or what. I'm starting to get nervous. There were a couple 4-stars I found, like this JUCO small forward, that we're going to close out on. All we need is a few more percentage points of interest, but at 70% with 1 week left, I don't know if we can make up that difference on Milos. And then we're wasting a scholarship. For our center, yeah, we're stuck with Aaron Niang. He's not the kid that I wanted, but Pittsburgh pulled out. And then for our final 2 scholarships, there's this small forward. He's okay, but OJ O'Hara is the one that we really want. And the reason for that is I've been looking at his stats. He shot 41% from the field. He made 40% of his 3-pointers. And schools like Florida, Duke, Indiana are interested, but they won't offer him a scholarship. We might just have to go all in and invite him to campus. I've also teased the idea of picking up this point guard. We could use him. I've been looking into him. We've pitched him on phone calls. We have first place interest just because he shot well from the field in the ABL. So you know what? We're going to try and get him. We're taking this scholarship off of our small forward, which means we're most likely not going to land him if we decide to go back after him. But I am willing to take that risk. It is time to find out how many of these players we have signed. We got 1 4-star. I think that was the small forward or shooting guard. O'Hara has also chosen our school. And here it is. Of our 6 targets, we were able to bring in 4 of them, where it all comes down to 1 more week. I think Milos Holland is going to commit if we have him at 95% right now. We can invite him to campus. He's a 4-star out of high school that nobody from Washington seems to want. I'm really hoping that as we advance to this final week that we get to pick him up. I just don't know if players get another chance to make the decision or if that Monday's the last chance that they do. Looks like he did sign with us. And do you know what that means? Even if one of those 4-stars is a JUCO, he's a JUCO freshman. He still has 3 years of college left. And we picked up 2 4-stars in this class. We also got 2 3-star guards I'm super excited about. It's just the center that upsets me. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, though. Let's look around the rest of the Southwestern Conference. Texas Southern brought in 4 3-stars. That's actually really impressive for them. We're really rooting on all these teams' downfalls. I mean, nobody had a class like us, but I still get worried that other teams are going to keep up. Cody Babcock as a senior is an 84 overall. That's the highest overall that we have seen on a player. We're also starting to see Arnold progress. He's now a junior center. This is the 7-1 kid I was excited about. He still has B- potential, so with 1 more year, maybe he can get up to that 80 overall range. I'm not quite sure if they can jump 5 overalls during the offseason. And I was so right about OJ O'Hara. He is 82 3-pointer as a true freshman. We're going to redshirt him, and then he's going to carry us. I actually plan on redshirting every true freshman as well. 67 3-pointer on the point guard. He grew an inch. I just noticed he went from 5'9" to 5'10", so that's pretty cool that players can change in height. But yes, we're redshirting all the freshmen, even Milos Holland, who was a 4-star. He'd be our 6th best player. Are we making a mistake by redshirting him? Potentially, but we also have a senior that is a good enough power forward at 6'10" to start, and I want him to reach the top of that B- potential, whatever that overall is. I really hope it doesn't cause him to transfer. It does mean that we're going to have a rotation of just 9 players throughout this season. Again, he could have been getting minutes for us as a 6th or 7th man, maybe even starting, but I'm trying to think about the future right now. We have another 6 scholarships to deal with, so this is obviously because we had to have that first class of like 9-10 players. Now all those guys have been leaving over the past 2 years, and I will say I do think there are a couple couple 4-stars, if these other schools don't pursue them, we might have a chance with. But 3-stars are really where we're still going to have to shine, and I don't know if we can win these battles either. Now, in the last 30 minutes, I have fully zoned out, locked in on recruiting, but first I have to mention, we're an 84 overall headed into the year. So our team overall hasn't changed much from last year. Our team unity has gotten a little bit worse, but I still expect us to beat a lot of teams like this. And I think I'm finally in a position where I can start to talk through some of these prospects that we're going after. It's taken a while to narrow it down to 6. I'm sure I'm going to look at some of these battles and decide to pull out later anyway. But look at that. For 4-star JUCO sophomore Channing McCollum, a shooting guard, we're in first place. For another 4-star, he's from Mexico, the number 35 player in the country. I just discovered him. Nobody else is going hard. So I was hoping to use a lot of hours on him, but there's only one player it's allowed me to invite to campus this week. It's the 3-star point guard. And he's another one I'm excited about. Bobby Warsaw, we're in first place for. He is 6'3". I thought he shot a little bit better than what we have seen recently, but it might not matter. He gets so many assists that he's just going to spread the ball around. In a couple of weeks, we have a huge day. We have a 1-week period where if we can get these guys up to 100% interest and stay in first place, they can sign. We won't have to pursue them throughout the year and then sign them in that second recruiting period. So I've had to decide who to spend a bunch of hours on. We're actually going to have to remove a 7-1 center from our board because we couldn't give him any focus. And his signing period has started. We are going to bring in nobody. However, at the buzzer, we were able to get Bobby Warsaw and Derek Andrew to commit, which might not seem that exciting since they're not the 4-stars, but I knew we could actually close them out in the short time frame, and they're both ranked within the top 130 of their class. During the course of the season, we're still going to be pursuing Channing McCollum. We're still going to try and get the number 35 point guard as well. Currently, we're the only team on him, but if we're being realistic, that's probably not going to last. Like our winning streak, we're currently sitting at 7-0. That win puts us at 8-0, but eventually we lost to Coppin State, and hitting conference play with only 1 loss, we might not lose again this season. For the first time though, with recruiting, I have ran into a unique issue where you only get 880 points throughout the entire year, and I think we're going to run out of them, especially before the off-season period. At the moment, we're still in first place for Channing McCollum. It actually looks like we could get Ronaldo Villegas as well, even with other schools entering the battle, but I don't know how we can close out on all of these guys. I just don't think we have the hours for it, and we keep on winning these games by a lot of points. Now, eventually, even though we have made our progress on these players, we are losing out. Scholarships haven't been offered, but the second those teams offer a scholarship, this is not our battle to win. And even on a guy like Javier Fontanet, I don't know if we get this power forward over CSU. I don't know who CSU even is. He's only attempted 22 3-pointers, but currently he's 40% from behind the arc. So that's another 3-star I wanted to land. We lost 3 games in the last month, but we bounced back strong, winning 6 to end the year. But guess what? Alcorn State beat us during the year. They finished with a better conference record, so we're going to be the 2 seed in the conference tournament. It's us and Alcorn State at the top. For a lot of these other teams, they all struggled. But Alabama A&M might be the 3rd best. They were able to get the most rebounds per game and the most blocks per game. They have some good big men, while we average the most points per game, assists per game, steals per game again. And it's no surprise that the best player in our conference is going to be Cody Babcock. I mean, he is an 86 overall. He's gone up a couple more overall points throughout the year, 14.8 points per game. And that's enough to be our leading scorer. I thought that Arnold would do a little bit better than he did as our center. I mean, 12.1 points per game isn't anything to be upset about, especially in a season that I thought could be a little bit of a down year. Now, looking at these last 3 prospects, we're not in first place for him. For Javier, we actually went back into first place, and UCLA still is a lead on Channing. But we don't even know if those schools will offer those guys scholarships, so we could still win those battles. I expect us to get to at least the conference championship. And if we can't make it there, I mean, it's just a real disappointment to this season. Getting to the NCAA tournament consistently is the next step to taking this program to the next level. We held them to 39 points. And at the moment, Alabama State is 13-19. So I just cannot imagine that we would fall to them. We won by almost 30. That'll get us to the conference championship against Alabama A&M. It looks like Alcorn State got upset by 32 points by them in the first round. So this is the 8 seed. But remember what I said when I was looking at the conference stats. They have the most rebounds per game and blocks per game. Plus, as a 75 overall, I think they're the 2nd highest overall team in our conference. I no longer care that they went 11-17 this season. I'm actually kind of nervous, but we were fine. And I just realized we have no idea what seed we're going to get. It's got to be higher than 12. Never mind. We're going to be facing off against Maryland. And here's the thing. If for whatever reason we did beat them, Portland Maryland just upset Indiana, so there is a pathway to the Sweet 16. But this roster just doesn't feel like the roster that's going to be good enough to carry us past a 5 seed. I mean, Cody Babcock is the one player that could carry us, but he's got just 73-pointer. And Maryland's a lot better than the Houston team that annihilated us last year. I'm going to need a better roster before we hop into one. We genuinely have a much better chance at winning through simulation, even though I highly doubt we come out on top. They held us to 43. That's just humiliation. Syracuse wins the title. I mean, we had one player good enough to be on a title-winning team, but we're going to need like 7, or else we're going to lose regular season titles to programs like Alcorn State. I still cannot believe that we didn't win our conference. We got Conference Coach of the Year, but imagine if we had a center like Stephon Fowler. I mean, we got a higher overall center. It's just he was 7'2", and he had 23 points per game. Alcorn State also had Freshman of the Year with their center, who's 6'10", so that's not good. He's going to be around for a few more years. That's somebody that we're just going to have to worry about. And this is a lot of guys to be saying goodbye to. Cody Babcock, I was hoping he went pro. I don't know if that affects anything if it happens, but we wanted it. And as our seasons continue to get more impressive every year, how do we keep on improving? All I can do is bring up our charisma. Next, I think we got to start focusing on our offense and defense. But I also would like to get some better coaches, and this is a decision that we're making. We're going to go ahead, swap this guy out for somebody that has A, teaching, but a little bit better offensive and defensive grades at B. As for UCLA, they better not take that JUCO from us. This is actually good that they got a transfer. It's going to take away one of their scholarships. Do we have people committing? Javier did. As for Channing McCollum, as for Ronaldo Villegas, they have not, but we are the only team on the 4-star point guards board. I feel bad for Bobby Warsaw. He actually looked good, but now he's probably never playing for us. We got some more recruit points back as well. At one point, I thought we were down below 400. And the last need that we really have to fill on this team is center, except there might not be any 3-star centers available that I want. What it'll all come down to is if these guys that have one school interested them get offered a scholarship. And if they don't, it's our time to shine. We've already picked up 2 4-stars, Channing McCollum and Ronaldo, both signed. But as you can see, for some of those other 3-star centers, they chose other schools. What about Tyrone Rowland? No one wants him? I guess we're taking the 141st best player in the class. Well, all it took was 1 week for all of that to go out the window. Where did these programs come from? I don't know if we can win this out. But here's the thing, even with Indiana staying in front of us, they haven't offered him a scholarship yet. We had him on a huge visit, and that is going to get him to commit. So we have completed back-to-back extremely impressive classes. Channing McCollum is going to be a JUCO sophomore, so he's going to come in as a junior. He only has 2 seasons, but these are the types of players that we have to sign. And I don't think anybody else in the Southwestern Athletic Conference is bringing in 4-stars. I mean, every so often we see some schools get 3 stars, and then they end up being pretty good, but for the most part, it's just 2 stars, which is going to help us really beat them out in the long run. Now, I do think this next season, we're going to take a little bit of a setback. Tyrone Rowland is coming in as a 76. Who would have thought this freshman who threw on our board would have been a 76? He has deep potential, so he's not getting any better than this. But 4-star point guard, number 35 player in the class, Ronaldo Villegas. I gotta say that correct. I know I'm upsetting my Spanish watchers right now that I'm just butchering that last name. But anyway, he's a 6'4" point guard. His 3-point shooting isn't all that good, but A- potential is the highest that we have seen on a player so far. At the end of this season, we are going to lose 2 seniors. Arnold Dahi, he was the center I was really excited about, that I guess getting up to a 78 is the best he could do. And the second, James Onganu, he only made it to a 72 as a guard. So we have a couple replacements to make, and if we're only going after 2 prospects with 3,000 recruit points, we can start to have some fun. In reality, all that it's meant is we're probably getting another extremely talented shooting guard on our team that I would hopefully redshirt during his first year here. We're currently in first place. He's coming on a visit this week. I think that we're able to get roast. And then I found a 6'10" center from Scottsdale, Arizona. At first, I said we are just blowing him away, but we are going to take that statement back. We're blowing these other teams away while pursuing him. And our team overall is still an 84, even though I feel like our roster took a step back. Is it because we have some more depth? It's the only thing I can really think of, and shooting guard is going to be our deepest position, especially if we get that 4-star. Channing McCollum just came in, 75 3-pointer. We're going to have him for 2 years. I'm not going to waste a season by redshirting him. We want him on the court immediately, and OJ O'Hara already has an 84 3-point shot. We made the right move redshirting redshirting him, I'm not sure it's even worth it to see how we do in the first game anymore. I feel like we're always expected to win. I also just noticed that took place at Rupp Arena, so this is some sort of tournament. We got to play where my favorite team, Kentucky, does, but now we have to face off against Vanderbilt. We're just in one portion of the 2K Sports College Hoops Classic. I hope that we win. I think we then advance on to another part of a bracket. We ended up beating them by 16. No joke, these are some really quality resume wins, and if we get past number 25 Seton Hall, we could win this entire tournament, right? Yeah, there's double elimination, so either way, we're playing 2 games against better teams. But we're having a lot of success in the College Hoops Classic, more than I thought we were going to have, and we won again. We are in the championship against Southern Miss, who's an 86 overall. Conference USA was cooking back then. Houston was a part of it too. But you know what? We just beat a top 25 team for the first time. Maybe we win this game as well, and we do. We won by 9 points. We got our true freshman point guard putting up 13. We had like 7 guys as double-digit scorers, and we just won the 2K Sports College Hoops Classic to open up this year. Now, in trying to figure out where we are ranked, I have discovered a whole other screen, which is actually really useful. Like, this screen will show us our makeup of our roster. We have 3 freshman point guards, so we clearly don't need more guys at that position. We see our team unity. We see game experience, which is something I've been saying matters. And most importantly, we got this screen. Our RPI is currently 6, but that's because we've played 4 games. That is going to drop so much. We also can seat 5,000 in our arena. I don't know if this is a picture of their actual arena or just what they have in the game, but 5,000 is solid. And this is another screen that I always love to use at the end of the season. I just can't believe I forgot about this. This is what happens when you don't play for a year. We're not ranked yet, though. We're about to play against DePaul. If we get past them, we'd have to play number 2 Florida. The Hawaiian Invitational looks tougher. And this is another good test to see if team overall actually matters. I feel like team unity, game experience, all that other stuff is actually what makes the difference. I mean, Southern Miss was a higher overall than we were. DePaul, 5 overalls lower than us, beats us by 7. And on the recruiting front, we are so close to closing out these battles. I think we're going to have both these guys signed early on in the year, which is huge. We also picked up a loss against Kansas State. Even with the strong start to the year, I'm sure we'll find a way to lose 2 conference games. That is my prediction. And I already know that with the recruit signing period starting, we're going to have 2 guys committed. Never mind, we're sitting at 97% for Kashin Roast. This is not ideal. We want to close out this battle now. We can at least scout a game. And we ended up only scoring 52 points against Marshall to lose our 3rd game of the year. On the bright side, at the last second, Roast decided to sign with us. He is a 4-stars, the number 25 player at his position, but what I find more interesting is this is the number 6 center in the country, 142 overall. Now, as we just simulate through this season, I have to say the losses to Marshall and Old Dominion are going to take a major hit to our RPI at the end of this year, even if we did go undefeated in conference play. I don't think we can get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, though we have just been on a winning streak so far. We have not lost yet. This is actually mental. We might go undefeated in conference play for the very first time. We have 3 games left in the year, and I just jinxed it. We lost to Alabama A&M, so we'll check. But I think even after going 28-5, we have to win our conference tournament to get into the NCAA tournament. It all depends on what screen is it. It is going to be this one. Yeah, our RPI is 96. That's gross, but if you zoom into this breakdown, I think if we beat Marshall Old Dominion, we go undefeated in conference play, we're in the tournament no matter what. We also are a part of the worst conference in the country. It's ranked 31st out of 31 conferences that are in the game at this moment, so that could have something to do with it as well, but that's not something we'll be able to avoid. The top players in this conference all came from our team, and I still can't get over the fact that we lost the regular season title to Alcorn State last year. I've already noticed one big issue, though, headed into tournament play. Our senior center, who is our leading scorer, is injured. I'm hoping that we don't have any other major injuries, but that is the worst one that we could have. He's still out for 10 more days with a broken wrist, so if we get through the conference tournament, he would be back for the NCAA tournament. It's just that getting to March Madness isn't a guarantee. Hang on. So we won our first 2 games. We cruised through Alcorn State. We beat Southern, both of those games by 16, but now we face off against Alabama A&M, the only team that beat us in conference play. And this is the exact same way the conference championship was last year. They went from a 75 overall to a 74. The one thing that scares me is how low our team unity is, but we beat them by 5. And I think the best that we can hope for is a 12 seed we have to play Kentucky. Now, I know I said until we get a better team, I don't feel comfortable hopping into these first-round games. I know that we're going to lose. But hear me out, we're healthy. At least I thought we were. Holland is out, so now we're going to have to play somebody else. But then it hit me. What we'll do is we'll just run this small ball lineup against Kentucky. We actually have a couple of three-point shooters, like O.J. O'Hara could be hitting. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not just going to simulate against my favorite team. What if we could pull off the upset? This was going to be my last year of the night. I was ready to go to bed, but now it is time to lock in against Kentucky. And keep in mind, our 2 starting guards are freshmen, so we're about to have them for 4 more seasons. Let's try and get this one down low early on. I'm afraid we're going to deal with a lot of turnovers. If they can hit threes too, it's going to be a long game. You can't be giving up rebounds to them. But you know what? We kind of set ourselves up for failure by playing a small ball lineup. I thought that we were going to get that steal right there. What we learned against Houston was if it turns into a shootout, we're going to struggle quite a bit. Look at those bars on O'Hara, though. He can shoot. And let's see what we do. If we back him down, we dish it out, shoot it. I think they got contested on that. I've kind of started to figure a couple things out, though, and locked in. I just can't get a stop on defense. And so even if we do happen to score a decent bit more, we got a foul there. If we're not getting stops, it's never going to matter. They just shook the stadium. I also forgot how scary our mascot used to look. With those yellow eyes, that is absolutely wild. I'm glad they've changed that up. And so far, I literally don't think they've missed a single shot from the field. I mean, it's insane. We're running some up tempo to get a layup right back, but I think our overalls are just really biting us. Like, we're not getting those steals. They actually missed a shot. Hang on, we get a 3 here. No, we're going for the 2, or we just lose it immediately. We still couldn't do anything with it though, and I panicked because I knew that 3 was coming. We might just need to start shooting some of them ourselves. That's not going to go in, but it's not an awful look. And is this getting a little bit too aggressive? No, we can force steals on Kentucky. Our true freshman point guard goes down the court with the lay. But it's just so hard to stop Kentucky. I can't make any mistakes, and whenever I have turnovers, I just know it's going to get out of hand. We're getting out rebounded too, and I know that they're trying to hold for the final shot of the half, which isn't great. Giving that up isn't either. Well, we just got to chuck this down the court. Hang on, slam it. I'll take it. You know what? We can make up if we hit this free throw for giving up that 3. It's a 7-point game at the half. The problem, though, is I think this is about what it was like against Houston. They're shooting 75%. And so I just know this second half isn't going to be kind to us. I mean, he's just shooting another, and he's making another. Chambers has 15 of their 25 points. He literally is 60% of their points. I don't think O'Hara's done anything so far. You can't take on 3 guys at once, dude. And no, don't leave him open. There's just no way. He's got 17. He has 17 points on our head. You know, if we could hit a 3 like this, we'd be somewhat in it. With 2 bars, I thought we had a chance there, and we're just going to give up another 3, aren't we? Okay, grab that board. We're fine. Now, if we look over to that left side, we got an open shot here, but it's a miss. What a board. Hang on. Getting that separation. 2 smaller guys on him. Our teams are at our best whenever we got senior centers. This dude's just cracked. I don't know how to stop him. It's not even Kentucky themselves. It's literally 1 player. And it's O'Hara that's been getting cooked by him. It's not a good look for a freshman shooting guard. But when we just off-balled trying to hold them up, that didn't really help either. Our best 3-point shooter isn't hitting 3s. Go ahead, Chambers. Just hit another one. I mean, what else what do I do? I've lost all hope. It doesn't matter that this is the best game we'd seen out of a center. And what did I say was going to happen? It's just going to get worse. It's going to ruin my night. We do stupid stuff like throw it out of bounds. And now I feel like I just need to figure out how to win games on this and redeem myself. That ball was in the net. It was in the hole. I mean, what more can you do? This literally looks like it's about to just take the hit and drop in. But no, it hits that side. It hits that side. It hits every inch of the rim. Rolls out. I mean, look at this ref too. Look at the way he is hunched over. He can't believe it's rolling out. Hang on, that cheerleader on the left, that's my type. You know what? That's the only thing that's going to bring me joy out of this game. A video game cheerleader, because they hit every shot. I never get upset when playing these games. I'm probably the most composed. In fact, I'm told I'm too composed, but what do? That wasn't goaltending? That was against us? You know, it's really bad when I'm not even going to try and score. I'm going to dribble out the shot clock so this game can end sooner. I really don't know how we're going to get over the hump of not being able to beat 5 seeds getting annihilated every year, because it always feels like we run into a guy like Chambers who will not miss, In sim, we didn't do any better, and it's the only way we're going to get better recruits to ever have a chance at winning at all. Like, from here on out, I think we're going to run the Southwestern Athletic Conference. I don't think we're going to have issues winning this time and time again, even if we don't always have all of the best players in the conference. Though it's starting to get to that point where we are, because we just had 3 freshmen finish on the freshman all-conference team. Anyway, we're only losing a couple guys to graduation. Obviously, one of them hurts a little bit more than the other because he got better every single year. And I want to say that we're not getting better every year, but we are. We're getting better recruits. We're getting a couple extra wins. We just keep on being first-round exits. And you know what? Before we max out charisma, I might actually want to max out defensive awareness first. In fact, I don't even think I'm upset that our other charisma coach that helps us recruit just left for a better job. We're going to get a second coach that is good at defense, teaching as well. Our charisma is only coming from us now. I am the sole recruiter on the coaching staff for the time being. Looks like Delaware State just lost an absolute stud to Washington. Where's our transfer? We need the moment to come. We have no scholarships available after signing these 2 guys, so nothing to do in off-season recruiting. And I didn't change up our schedule last year. We ended up doing pretty well with it, so I'm not going to touch our schedule again. Maybe we should focus on the ABL if we wanted to sign a couple better prospects. I still don't think it matters. And after that loss to Kentucky, I literally can't put this game down. We got a senior small forward at an 83 overall. That's the problem with bringing in JUCOs, even if they are 4 stars. And I actually think we're about to make our first roster cut on this team. We have 2 point guards that I know are better than Bronski. And even though this was the guy I believed in, he's got deep potential. He's grown from 5'9" to 5'11", but we got to cut him because for the rest of his career, Ronaldo will start over him, and then also once he's gone, bye-bye Warsaw, I want to give him a chance. I think if we release him now, then we're going to get 1 extra scholarship, and it's perfect for our rotation because we have 10 guys that can get on the court. Our team keeps on getting better, in my opinion. It might not be by much, but it is slight improvements. There's a 5-star JUCO that I actually think we'd have a shot at if I really tried, but we're going to avoid it for now, mainly because some of these 4-star JUCOs are also looking possible, which means some 4-star seniors are probably going to be in that realm of possibility as well. At this point, what my ideal plan would be is to sign 3 4-stars in this class, redshirt them all when they come in, just like we've been doing. But very quickly, that whole plan's gone out the window because I did decide to go after a 5-star JUCO point guard. He'd still be with us for 3 years. He is 5'9", but we are in 4th place and we're just going to go super aggressively. Then the other main player I care about right now is this 6'9" center who is the number 4 center in his class. I don't care he's a 3-star. I'm starting to realize that centers are very hard to find. The 3-stars, there was a 3-star center that was the number 3 center in the class. I had a couple other 4-stars we might have gone after, but I can just tell we're not going to have a chance. And for whatever reason, we never got that 1 scholarship back for cutting the kid, so maybe we have to wait on that. We only have 2 to use, and those are the players we're going after. As we start this season as well, we're the highest overall we've ever been. We're an 87. But I think the best part is we have 2 seniors and no juniors, so outside of those 2 seniors, the rest of this team should be around for years. I have noticed, though, Milos Holland seems to be injury prone. He didn't play in the tournament last year. He's our 2nd best player, and he's already pulled his hamstring. So I don't love that. We also lost to East Carolina since he wasn't out there to play for us. It's our first loss of the season. Our non-conference slate hasn't been bad, though. And with the recruiting signing period starting, we were able to get Ike Lee to sign. However, we aren't having as much luck for the JUCO 5-star point guard. In fact, Troy has a lead on us, even though they have not offered a scholarship. The best we can do is just scout his game. He's not going to commit. And we really need him to sign by the end of the signing period since I've already used all the big visits that I can. If he doesn't sign, then we know at the end of the year he is going to choose a better school. He didn't sign. In fact, he signed with somebody else during that same last week, and it was Troy. They offered him a scholarship. I guess he couldn't pass up. Now, I am a little confused why we're playing East Carolina for a 2nd time. They beat us the 1st. We got our revenge, but it was a close call. We only won this one by 3. I also have picked up on another target, this 4-star shooting guard from Houston, Texas, number 54 player in the class, Brian Nicholson, but I think Texas and LSU also want him. So at this point, I just know that we're wasting resources, but we're headed into conference play with only 1 loss, and if we can beat all of these teams, a 1-loss team should be in the tournament either way. It's going to be hard to make that argument, though, when we have 2 losses. Unfortunately, somebody beat us. Looks like it was Southern, who finished 9-19. That just shows you, even if you're really good, it is almost impossible to win every game in college basketball. We had 2 guys scoring 15 points per game. We have never had that before. Tyrone Rowland, how is he doing this? I mean, we already think that he's hit his potential because he has D potential, but maybe he hasn't? I just really wanted to see this team go undefeated in conference play because I have a good feeling I know how this season is going to end. Our RPI is 59th. If we just didn't lose that one game, we would have been in the tournament no matter what. That really stinks, but we score 81 points per game. The NCAA average is just under 69. Our score margin looks incredible. And again, if you look at how this roster is constructed, we have those 2 seniors that are going to graduate after this season, but then everybody else on this team is going to be here for multiple years. Our game experience is going up. Apparently, Holland is a sophomore, is a coach on the floor. I've never seen that before. But unfortunately, Ronaldo is injured, so we're not going to have our starting point guard for the conference tournament. Javier is also out. And I'm a little afraid I'm being disrespectful by not even looking into these first or second games, but I just expect us to get to the championship. I also noticed something. There was a number beside our name. I know our RPI said it was 51, but for the first time this season, we are ranked in the top 25. I find it interesting with 7 losses. Southern Miss is at 18, by the way. That's a team we beat a year or 2 ago. So it's possible for us to keep on rising up these rankings. And you know what? Even if we did lose this game, we are a tournament team. I mean, they're not going to have us on bubble watch because they're just going to expect us to win our conference every season. But what I find the most interesting about the projected brackets, I don't know if it's going to work out this way, we're supposed to be a 7 seed. We've started to earn some respect around the country. We are clearly in the tournament no matter what. We should still win this. I mean, Arkansas Pine Bluff is 11-16. I don't care if we're missing our starting point guard. We almost beat them by 40. And this is the most excited I have been for the Selection Sunday show. I was just going to go to bed a season ago, but Kentucky's loss has just upset me. I literally could not handle the way that they beat us. We are just waiting for our spot on the bracket now. And we have to be in this final region. We're not an 8 seed. We're not a 9 seed. So we might have been able to rise up to 6. We'll see. Southern Miss takes the 6 seed spot, which means we are missed. I missed us somehow. I'm starting to understand why, though. We were playing against Georgia. We're a 6 seed. I just would have never expected us to go that high. And with us being favored in this game, with us having the 6 overall advantage, I actually think we can simulate. I'm not willing to go through the heartbreak of losing by like 20 points because I hop in. We beat them by 19, but now we're in a weird spot. We probably can't simulate against Iowa State too. They're the 3 seed. They're a 93 overall. At some point, I'm just going to have to play well for us to win. But we do have a pretty healthy lineup for this game. Outside of Javier being hurt, we now have our starting point guard back. We also have 87 3-pointer on OJ O'Hara. So our goal is to work it down low to Roland and then kick it back out to him for 3 or just go for the 2 if Roland can get open. It's literally going to be a 2-player offense. We need to draw the double teams though. Corner 3. It's a miss, but we grab the board with Holland anyway. What a beast. Now, we did make sure to raise our defensive awareness, and I have a feeling that just contributed to that stop. It was literally perfect timing. So that's something we'll keep on doing as we get better as a coach. I would love to get to the Sweet 16. I mean, every time we can pick up wins in the tournament, it helps with recruiting, it helps with upgrades. But we all know we've been struggling to pull off wins in these games. And all of a sudden, after going up 4-0, they tied it up. It's really hard for me, but I have to be patient. We got to work it down low. And I really have to avoid running an up-tempo offense. We could have taken that 3. Hang on. Are they giving us this look? Are they actually giving us this look? We get the board with Roland too. And we're trying to force a couple double teams. See if we can get them into a mistake. They haven't shown that they can shoot the ball so far. They still aren't, but that's a great board. And for whatever reason, ever since that moment, they have just been on fire offensively, so we needed that block. I hear the crowd chanting, "Who's your daddy?" after that, by the way. Absolutely awesome. And this is the type of stuff that just makes this game so much more fun, especially gameplay-wise over NCAA Basketball 10. I will die on that hill. It's been far too long since we've had a college basketball game. I guess that can lead into my whole rant about the current situation. I don't know how much I've really talked about it, but at one point, EA was supposed to be a part of the new college basketball game, and then they pulled out. 2K also wanted to make one. EA wanted exclusivity. 2K didn't. I guess because 2K's just been in the space, they knew they're probably putting out the better product. But what 2K did while EA was trying to put all this together with an exclusive agreement was they just started signing schools one by one. Like they would reach out to Kentucky solely and say that they wanted those rights, and that broke any chance for EA to have an exclusive agreement. Anyway, say what you want about that, say what you want about the exclusivity. EA's plan for the game was to have all teams in it off the jump. So obviously that's what we want. Now, Division I college basketball is different than college football. There's like 370 teams because it's FBS and FCS combined, plus all the schools that just don't play football in the first place. Nice little block to end the half. But 2K wants to start slow. They want to do like 10 teams in some My Team promo, which is their Ultimate Team version for this year. Then the next year, I think they might get it up to 100 college teams. And then they're going to use those smaller sample sizes as a test before building out an actual full college basketball game. While with EA, they would have just built the full college basketball game and taken the risk from the jump. So that's why I'm frustrated that it's 2K doing it, even though I think they're going to make a way better basketball game than EA would. It could be 4 or 5 years if they decide it's even worth it to decide to make a full-fledged college basketball game again. But I don't think they're going to get great reception from their test, because how do you build a solid college basketball experience with only a set number of teams, like 50? Or even let's say that it's 100, well, that would mean that 68 of the 100 teams, almost 70% of the field at the start of whatever dynasty season you have, is making it to the tournament. You can't really have the conference tournament experience. And I'm learning that me ranting on this game is not the same as college football. I seemingly just play worse. They have just continued to score while we are sitting at 10 points. Our offense is non-existent. We haven't been able to back them down the way that I thought we would. Roland spins. Come on, something, please. But yeah, I really hope 2K nails whatever they decide to put out. I might do videos on it depending on how good it is. If it's just like My Team this year, probably not. But we'll see. I really just want a good college basketball game. 2K8, it scratches the itch for me a couple times a year, but it doesn't do what like college football can. Now, we got it. We got a tie game. It's also the first jump shot, or even the first shot I have had with our point guard. I didn't realize that he was a lefty. There is a very real chance that we're headed to the Sweet 16, though. We just got to lock in here. Don't give that up. Got to give them credit for the good move, though. We're running down the court, and the lay is in. We would also get a stop, so when we got it back on offense, we're really struggling to do much with this. Spin inside. Can we draw foul? Going down low has been the best thing we could have done. They called a timeout out of panic. And our point of emphasis is just going to be defense. I don't know what that does, if it gives us like a defensive awareness boost or what, but we have our lead. We just need to hang on to it now. I'm playing off ball. That is how scared I am. But maybe we shouldn't do that. They literally just picked up an and one. Missed the free throw. Okay, all tied up at 19. Do we run the court here? I think we just got to kick this out and be more patient. I'm literally so nervous right now. This is not good. Pump fake didn't catch them off guard. Spinning inside, and it's blocked. Not a great look. They're going to get a jump or two, and it's in. So now we got to really be smart about what we're doing. Kick it across the court. Open. Three-pointer is in. And I've seen that we got 50% remaining on this defense. What if we also focused on rebounding? If we can get the benefits of both, we'll close out this game really strong. How are we not forcing the steal there? Why is he so open? We got the board, and that's all that we needed. I just realized I haven't been calling ISOs or anything. I completely forgot you could do that in this game. Maybe we shouldn't be ISO. Hang on. Pump fake. Good lay. Up by 3. Minute left on the clock. We're also going to force the steal here, and we got to be smart. We got to be smart. There's no reason to rush. Now, I see the mismatch down low. It's drawn a little bit of attention. We're going to back them down. Then we're going to dish it out. This isn't the look. I'm actually starting to panic. I'm starting to panic so much. 7 seconds on the shot clock now, and it's a steal. It's a steal. What are we doing? Don't let them get out in transition. Okay, they pass it down low, and it's an and one. This is the worst thing that could have happened right here. That form is so ugly, though. How did he get that board? Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, we're fine. We still have a 1-point lead. We just can't give up a bucket. 10 seconds left now. They get a 3-point shot off, and he had the space for it. We literally just gave it to him there. We got to call a timeout, right? How do you call a timeout? Okay, we're going to go down low, and we're going to try and force it. Swing it around. This is not the shot. Get off a shot. Did the horn sound? This is just a collapse. This is the worst way to end the night. I can't believe we just blew that game. We were going to the Sweet 16 right there. Florida wins it again, too. They have like a perfect team every single year. And I wish we could get Alcorn State Center. That would really complete our team. Freshman of the year goes to Alabama A&M. I don't even know if we're playing freshmen anymore. I'm just so upset. We got to say goodbye to another former 4-star recruit. He had 3 good years with us, though, as a JUCO. And Channing McCollum was a little bit more disappointing. What did I say, though? Every year is going to be progress, and we're just going to keep on boosting up that defense. I'm noticing a really bad trend, though, where every year we just lose one of our assistants. I'm not happy with our replacement. We just wanted somebody with good ambition. The transfer portal is never, ever for us. And I forgot about Brian Nicholson. I completely forgot that we were going to try and get him. We're going to resign the scholarship right now because Texas has it locked up. But we have a couple options of 4-star point guards that aren't being recruited. They're about the same national rank. It's all just going to come down to whose stats I like more, and 53% from 3. Hang on. There's no way that we don't go after Everston. He's getting the scholarship offer. He is getting the visit. He is getting all of our original attention. But unfortunately, it took 1 week for everybody to pick up that these guys were available, and I don't think we stand a chance. What this is going to leave us with is only being able to go after some 3-stars, and don't get me wrong, there's a couple guys here that might be all right, but schools are also going after the ones that I'd want here. Even on this 6'9" small forward I found a second ago, now Arizona and Utah came out of nowhere. Even losing these battles, though, I am so addicted to this game right now. And I can only imagine what Ali Everston's 3-point shot would have looked like. He chose Villanova. Looks like we could get the 6'9" small forward, though, if we really wanted to. So that's exactly what we've done. I think size is a really big deal on this game, and this class might not look that great on paper because it really isn't. This is the 25th best small forward in the country, but this is the 4th best center in the country. You can't forget that. All 5 of our starters are going to be above an 80 overall, by the way, plus they're all sophomores or juniors, so they're all returning for the season after this one. We also brought in 2 really good freshmen that we're going to redshirt for 3-stars. I can't believe that our small forward and center are the same height, but look at that. We got B- potential on the center, small forward C potential. They're 73 and a 74. Can't be upset about that at all. As this team ages, our team unity gets better. We still have a coach on the floor. Game experience needs to go up. I can't believe Andrew is starting for us. We might need to change that up too. Confidence is high. But you know what? If Derek Andrews is going to be a 6'7" small forward with a 78 3-pointer, he can start. He's always been the long-term replacement plan. I know that going after Newsome, we're just not going to find success on the 5-star, but we're going to try. For whatever reason, I haven't learned my lesson yet. This kid's from Mobile, so he could commit to South Alabama. It'd just be really painful to witness. There's also this other senior. We're targeting number 32 player in the country. And our team overall is not going up that rapidly anymore, but an 89 is still improvement from the 88 that it was. There's a lot of games on our non-conference slate, though, I don't feel incredible about. Even this one, we could have lost. And just like that, South Alabama is in the lead on Newsome, so we're actually going to take this scholarship back. We're going to remove him from our target list completely, and we're only going to go after Pete Sessoms. We'll invite him to campus, we'll offer him a scholarship, we'll make sure he is our sole only focus. Mainly because we don't have a choice. I'm expecting Oklahoma to be our first loss of the season, but we beat them by like 40. It was 96-54. Apparently, that one win alone was enough to get us ranked in the top 25. We've also jumped up to first place on Pete Sessoms, so we are becoming a very good basketball school. But it also puts pressure on us. Like if we lost to Nicholls State, all of that goes way out the window. We probably fall down to ranked like 70th. And I have some bad news for Pete Sessoms. We're going to be at 99%. But we're not going to be able to sign the number 32 player in the class. In fact, Arizona has a lead. We're actually so close to really starting to make a splash. We've stayed undefeated, but we're also far at the same time. And I'm a little surprised that we still haven't picked up our first loss of the year. We beat Mississippi State, Tulane, Arkansas, Baylor. Even we're taking them down. So with what I thought was going to be our hardest non-conference schedule we've ever had, we've stayed undefeated. Again, I am so addicted to this game right now. I don't care that it's almost 4 a.m. I want to see this season through. We're the number 6 team in the country. At the moment, we're fully healthy. But I have got to stop saying stuff like that because our star point guard just got injured for 34 days. Now, luckily for us, that says we're entering our conference schedule, so we should win all of these games, but I really don't know if we will without him. And I've never been so nervous because one loss is probably going to send us down like 4 or 5 seeds in the tournament. This is the one that actually just scared me the most, by the way. Texas Southern, 95-93. It was a 2-point game. But we have our point guard back now. Kashin Roast is the only player that's currently out. And Milos Holland continues to get better and better. He is now an 87 overall. OJ O'Hara has 88 3-pointer. I want want to see that increase more too. But we're locked in. I'm giving all of our starters pep talks to make sure they are at max confidence for the rest of this year. And I'm just hoping none of these teams give us scares like Texas Southern did. There's not that much year left at this point. We beat Grambling, Jackson State coming up. We beat them too. But Alabama A&M worried me, and we finished 27-0. It's enough to keep us as the number 4 team in the country. Even though we're undefeated, we're not going to jump over some of those teams. Unfortunately, the harsh truth is we only played 2 teams in the top 50 of RPI. Ours is 34. But it's the best our team unity has ever looked. It's the best our game experience has ever looked. It's the best our confidence has ever been. It's the most points per game we've ever had in a year. And Tyrone Rowland's at almost 20 points per game. That's the best scorer we've seen so far. Milos Holland, not too far behind him either. It's always the big men that are scoring the most for us. It's never our guards. But I think that's because we started running UCLA high post and we have not switched up since. Of all the teams for us to be concerned about in this conference tournament, our final few conference games, maybe Alabama A&M or Texas Southern. But there is a nice relief in knowing that no matter what, we are in the tournament and we're just going to easily cruise through that. I forgot to watch Selection Sunday when we were the 3 seed. I don't know anything right now. We're just looking at the conference tournament. If we go over to NCAA, we're a 2 seed against Tennessee Tech, so we didn't get a 1. But you know what? We're on the side of the bracket with Rice, who we already beat this season. So I'm really hoping we just walk our way straight to the Sweet 16, which we should have reached last year. This was an easy win against a 15 seed. But it turns out 10-seeded BYU beat Rice. They're an 88 overall. And this is actually bad. I don't trust myself. We literally just have to sim against them. I mean, it worked out again. This one we won by 13, but at some point we have to play, and I think it's time we take on UCLA on the other side of the bracket, West Virginia, Texas A&M. They could be meeting us in the Elite 8, but we have to be able to win a game like this first, and I'm putting all of that on tomorrow. The Bruins, as a 3 seed, have lost 10 games this year, so I find that pretty impressive. Just watching UCLA in warm-ups, they got a couple guys that can shoot that really scare me. And we actually got the opening tip, but we immediately turned it over to let them score. Rowland is going to have a really big game for us. And I literally woke up and came straight down to the basement. I was ready to play this game. I'm excited to see how we do, though they keep on scoring. So far, when it comes to stopping them, we've had no luck at all, but we know he can shoot some threes. So we're letting Ronaldo get those looks, but how do you stop him down low? Problem is, eventually, we're not going to be able to keep up. That's got to fall, though. It's got to fall there. And I've been trying to play some off-ball defense here, hoping that makes the difference. What I've been doing, trying to click on to every player, hasn't been going our way, but that was a clean look. And going down the court, we're going to spin, take a lot of attention, dish it out for 3. Andrew has a shot. So what a start this has been offensively for us, except you can't give that up. However, I think Andrew might have another one, and he does. But here's the thing. I know we're not going to shoot that well from 3 for most of this game. I mean, we're 3 for 3 at the moment. So we had to get into our bag a little bit there, and they called a timeout. They are nervous. We're also going to start calling for some pick and rolls, seeing if that works, but it's a turnover. We haven't had one of those since the very start. And we're trying to get Rowland posted up here, but they're doing a great job on him, so we're probably going to have to take a look at 3. 5 seconds on the shot clock now. Aggressive drives to the basket. And what I would consider an almost perfect first half. Can we get a violation here? Or was it a timeout? Turns out it was a timeout. I can never get this steal on the inbounds, even when we know where it's going. But they're going to take a jumper. We get a hand on it, and we're just going to hold this ball until there's only a few seconds left in the first half because we're up by 9. We're trying to run a play here, but we only have 5 seconds on the shot clock now, so we got to get off something, and it somehow worked, which means this is the greatest game we have played so far. I really hope we don't choke it away. I mean, this doesn't even feel real. We are shooting 90% from the field. We only missed 1 shot. All of our shots were so high quality. They are a 100 overall on defense, by the way. I'm guessing that's due to some of the attribute boosting that you get from your coaches. And I can't say giving up an open layup is how we were looking to start this first half, but our good shooting night continues. However, they responded with the 3 of their own. They also just forced a steal. And 5 minutes is a lot of time to blow our lead. As a response, we've called for a quick ISO. We wanted to let Andrew try and draw some attention. Maybe O'Hara gets a good drive going too. I mean, he's had a solid game. Rowland goes for the shot. But look at them just running down the court and getting 2 right back. They have the 6th man on their side, though we got Rowland underneath again. I mean, this can't work again, can it? Surely. Put it up before there's going to be any type of violation. He really isn't that thick for someone to be down low like that against guys like this in this time period. But he's still doing a great job. Had to foul there. I would much rather make them work for their 2 points. One of them is going to roll out. We can't really be running the court like this consistently, but it worked in this spot. And from this point forward is when we should start taking our sweet time. I'm starting to run some of these plays. It's something I wasn't doing at all yesterday. We're seeing if we can get anything open, but ultimately what it results in is us just looking down low, and we're starting to reap the benefits of recruiting some of the best big men in the country. Even if they were 3 stars, I'm telling you, those centers are some of the top 5 centers in the game every year that they produce. It also looks like they could just give us an open 3 with our best 3-point shooter. So we've cracked the code. Look at that dish. It's going to be a block, but they called a foul on it. And the confidence has to be high. If we're just dishing it behind our head, missed one of the 2 free throws. Though they got an open 3-point shot, I'd much rather give up 2. There's a minute left. We're up by 9. At some point, they're going to start fouling to save time. And what we're going to do is I just figured out we can put in our roster of our best free throw shooters for that time period. I'm not too concerned about us blowing this lead. I mean, they're going to have to hit 3-point shots. Don't take it in. You know that there's not that much time. And there it is. Their shot with 2 dudes in his face is not falling at all. Well, this is great. They realized they weren't going to come back with this much time left, so they didn't even foul. But I think that shot right there is the first 3-pointer we missed the entire game. It would be hard to play better than what we just did. Obviously, our defense took a huge step up because instead of giving up 45 or 50, we only gave up 27, but we shot 83% from the field. And when you actually have a good team, this game's kind of fun. Looks like West Virginia annihilated Texas A&M, so that is who we're going to be playing for a spot in the Final Four. And headed into this one, we have much higher team unity as an 88. We're the same overall. I'm feeling confident. They went 29-6 this season. That was enough for them to get a 1 seed, but remember, we have not lost a game. That dunk was a little worrisome. And here we go. First play. It's going to be a dish underneath. What a throw. I'm telling you, team unity and confidence is such a big factor. But here we go. Another thing about UCLA was they didn't necessarily have a shooter out there that really worried us. Feels like things are going to be a little different with West Virginia. We're going to call for some pick and rolls, though, and that is going to work wonders. But I'm not sure if off-balling is going to be the best thing we can do defensively. It worked right there. And running the court, we are going to get stopped up, dish it over. Looks like they missed that pass. What a take. The reason that we shot so well from the field last week was because we took a lot of high-quality shots. You know I don't like to just throw up stuff that most likely won't go in, so either it was an open 3, like that, or we were able to work them down low. They're going to have a drive here, kick it out for 3, and I left them open. So far, that's the only way they've been getting their points. We're going to bring a lot of attention down to get an open look. And this does feel like another winnable game for us. Finally, they got worried about the 3-point shot. And can Holland hit them? He can. They are getting an open look right here, though. We tried to contest. Great board from him. And running down, O'Hara, open 3. Just stops, pulls up, where we've got West Virginia calling timeouts. They're panicking. They've only hit 2 3-pointers this entire game, and we're going to keep on focusing on our defense, not shot selection. The menu's lagging there really just frustrated me. Trying to pick us, but O'Hara sticking with them strong. Why are we not playing tighter? It's okay. They gave us a lane, so we drove. But then we had our first turnover. They were able to score a bucket. They get another bucket after that. It's a 4-point game. So I decided the best thing that we could do is just take this one into the end of the half, and there's no way Ronaldo can hit this. Maybe we should have had a little bit more faith in him there, but we're still up. We're shooting twice as well as they are. But you know what? That means that we should probably have a much larger lead than we do. I think the biggest difference between this game and our last one is how little we have fed Roland. But just like that, I remember that we have one of the best centers in the country, and they keep on going back to a power forward that's no good. It really is simple. Let Roland draw all the attention here. He was backing down their point guard, draws a foul. And we set up a perfect switch for the mismatch. We could take a 9-point lead. It's going to be a hard shot. I didn't know his release was that bad. Okay, they're also throwing an oop on his head. And after we gave up a 3-pointer, I guess we're just going for the 1v2. It's a foul. What a save from Poland. I wish he hit that free throw, though. And they're just looking for jump shots like this one. I have to say, at the moment, they have the momentum on their side. How are you missing that shot right there? And here we go. Layup. It's a block. It's a block. Okay, now we really need something to go our way. Let's get a 3-pointer. It is going to be aboard for Hull Roland, and he makes it. I'm so locked in right now. We're up by 5. We are actually going to choose defense this time. And I wasn't thinking this team could actually get to the Final Four, but I'm starting to realize this is one of our best chances to be able to win it. Obviously, this whole team returns next season, so next year is also a chance. But we went undefeated. We're not dealing with injuries. We're set up in a good spot. And if we can't hit free throws here at the end, we're going to lose. There's still 2 minutes remaining. We're only up by 4. They're looking for another open shot. And I feel like recently our defense has just collapsed on that front. One-on-one, we're not even risking it now. We're actually playing so terrified against West Virginia. We're dishing out shots that we could have taken from 3. I just threw this one up, and it's not in. Well, I'm really worried now because I think they're going to tie it. But just like that, we're in control. We're going to wait for the pick and roll, and we're going to dish it underneath, except we threw it into their back. They got a fast break running. Pape, slow him down. Not a 3. Not a 3. How is the point guard getting the board here? Okay, well, Roland underneath. Just dropped it. He just lost the ball. They're going to be able to settle for the last shot. This can't be how this year ends. Are they passing up on an open look underneath? That's how badly they want this final shot. See, they're still passing up on it. I can't believe it. Well, we better lock in, and we just gave up the easiest shot of all time. Hang on, hang on. I saw something. I saw something. Throw it. Throw it. Not off target. What are you doing? No! That's the game. It's going to take us too long to foul. So there it is. West Virginia is headed to the line with 0.4 seconds left. And are they going to make the shot? They do. I guess we can hope for a full court heave. Throw it. Throw it. Time is out. And that is how we're going to fail to make it to the Final Four. It looks like Oregon ended up winning it all, but we had that game. And now we're just hoping that we get to run it back with this entire team, since they should be all returning for their senior year. Tyrone Rowland was the best player in our conference. Kashin Roast, best freshman. I mean, we really have started to just take over the Southwest in the award category. And there it is. We have no graduations, nobody leaving early to go pro. So this is something that we can keep on building off of. If we look at our record year over year, we're actually only 9 years into this. And you know what I'm going to say needs to get better. It has to be our defense. Once again, though, we're dealing with the problem of just losing some of our assistants. I want to pick up people that are good offensive and defensive coaches. It looks like one of the best ways we could do that is by getting this guy first. And then we're looking at basically the same thing for Snyderman. These guys just have zero charisma. We also, no surprise here, are getting no transfers, but I have a plan. I think that next season, this team is good enough to get back to the tournament and at least make a run to the Final Four. We lost to the runner-up. I was looking into Pete Sessoms, by the way. He has a potential. I didn't know you could unlock this in scouting, but now we need the small forward more than anybody else. But I have a feeling another school is going to offer him a scholarship, and there it is. He did sign with another school. He's going to Iowa State, but we have found a point guard that we might as well add as a 4-star, see if we can just land him. But after a couple of weeks, I still can't tell if the number 62 player in the country wants to sign with us or Kansas State. Now, we do have a backup option, DC Hull, a small forward. He's number 72. So that kind of made me realize to check out our roster makeup screen, see what positions we need the most. We still have freshmen as guards, forwards, and as a center, so I do think we need to focus on point guard. And sure enough, Earl Collins will be getting redshirted next year because he chose Mississippi Valley State. As for how we're headed into this season, we're the number 1 team in the country preseason. We have 100% team unity. Our average attendance is going to be maxed out. Confidence is something we can increase. And it's wild to me how some of our worst players on this team would have been incredible for us just 3-4 years ago. At the top of our roster, we have an 88 overall with Milos Holland. And as I was looking more into him, he is a 99 close shot, so we should have continued to feed it to him more than anybody else. As for what I want to do in recruiting, some of the players that are most interested in us are still 1 and 2 stars. We have 5 scholarships available. We have a lot of seniors we're going to have to replace, but we don't have to sign all those guys now. In fact, if we go deep in the tournament again, it'll be easier to sign some of them during the off-season recruiting period. And I really haven't been recruiting any players that are juniors, that are sophomores, that are freshmen, so it holds us back by the time that we're trying to make late pushes for some of these players. I have to say, frustration is already kicking in, though, with our chances of having success on some of these battles, because as you can see, Isaac Frey most likely isn't going to choose our school, and for some of these other 4-stars, we're already way too far out of the race. We're also trying to pick up the number 8 center in the country, and I think it's time to just get ready for the regular season. Obviously, if this team can stay healthy, I'm expecting us to win almost every game. I mean, they were able to go undefeated until the Elite 8 last year, but I also know we're not going to have an edge over every opponent. So although we should beat Kinesis to open up the season, there are tougher games coming up where we aren't going to be able to score 103. Number 14, Texas A&M, for example, we are playing them in some sort of preseason tournament. We were able to get that win, though. If we beat Duke, that is 3 quality wins for our resume. It's our first loss. But you know what? We did pretty well in the Great Alaska Shootout, and the Blue Devils were only able to take us down by 3 points. Look at how many shots that our 2 big guys are putting up, though. I mean, that's the type of offense that we've been running. No wonder our guards haven't been scoring. And here's my thought. If it's not broke, don't fix it. At the moment, we're the number 4 team in the country. Duke is number 6. They're undefeated, so that's a quality loss that might actually boost our RPI. And I do think Isaac Frey is about to commit the second that he has a chance, but we are still in the battle there. We're also in the battle for the center. Again, I don't care he's a 3-star. There's just only so much we can do now. We've already done all our visits. I think Duquesne's about to land like the number 34 player in the country. We're about to find out, and he did. He signed with them, and then Memphis was able to keep this center locally, so we have 5 scholarships available as we head into the off-season recruiting period. That's pretty scary. It's going to be crucial that we use some of these pep talks so none of these younger players decide to transfer away. We could not afford to lose anybody else. But at least as we simulate through the rest of our season, I think the rest of our opponents are easy, and we're really relying on this team to not lose a single conference game and slip up, because if we do, that could cost us a lot in seeding. Well, over the course of like another 10 games, we've continued to pick up wins. We're in the final stretch now, and we did it. We did it. We finished 29-1 with our only loss being to the number 5 team in the country, Duke. I hope that we can get a 1 seed. I mean, I feel like we have a decent case for it. We have that quality result. St. Joe's is the number 3 team. And Texas being undefeated is also incredibly impressive. Our guys have progressed a little bit more throughout the season. I like that they can do that on this game. We average 90.6 points per game, a 30.1 score margin. And look at that. Our RPI is number 14. It's actually not that bad, all because we lost to Duke. As for the rest of our conference, we really have turned into the Gonzaga of the Southwest Athletic Conference, but I do want to point out one thing. Our conference, due to our success, is now ranked as the 20th best, so we've actually started to elevate it. And a team like Prairie View, who has the most rebounds per game and blocks per game, could still pull off an upset in the tournament. We are not guaranteed to have a good seed yet. For a while, though, whenever we look at the top players, we've had all of these. And over the last 3 seasons, we've won the regular season title and the postseason title. For the last 5 years, we've made the tournament out of the conference. And looking at these projected brackets, we are currently listed as a 1 seed, but that might still switch. I will not believe it until I see it in front of our name. Our best 2 scorers are going to be Milos Holland and Tyrone Rowland, but it makes sense. That's the type of offense that we run. I've pointed out the fact that we just don't have guards that have gone off, but that's because of decisions that I've made, and I think we're going to stick with our offensive playbook as the UCLA high post. We also need to use some of these pep talks to bring up guys on our team. Like, why is OJ O'Hara not fully confident at this point in his career? It doesn't even make sense to me, but let's not drop a game in our conference tournament. This would be the worst time to lose. And what's crazy is I don't even know if we won the championship because it had us just watch this show first. Well, looking at this tournament summary, you're going to see we got a 2 seed, but take a look at our region. And also on our conference breakdown, our conference got 2 teams in. We lost in our conference championship. There's no way. Prairie View took us down by 1 point, but this is the best thing that could actually happen for our conference. It's going to mean we get 2 teams into the tournament. It will boost our prestige. I just don't know how to feel about it because some of our players' confidence is dropping. Tyrone Rowland's one of our most important players, so we're going to use our final pep talk on him. And this is our lineup for the tournament. We've been lucky. We don't have any major injuries, but I am just so thrown off at the fact that we lost and we're now a 2 seed. We would have been a 1 seed. It might work out better for us. UConn is who I'm expecting to play if we can get through potentially UCLA in the second round. I really like some of the other higher seeded teams here. And I swear, if we fall to a 15 seed with this team of seniors, I will crash out. I'm actually putting a decent bit of faith in simulating some of these games. Like, I plan on simulating the next couple rounds. And it turns out St. Louis beat UCLA, but they're an 89 overall. See, this is where our team unity needs to kick in. I mean, you can lose any game. We lost to Prairie View. We survive by 6. And let's take a look at this tournament tree. So we're going to have to play against UConn. They were able to get past Buffalo. I think we have to hop into this game. I mean, this is the biggest game potentially of this entire video. If we simulated and lost, I would never forgive myself. We're the same overall as them. We have higher team unity, but UConn is very good. We know exactly what it is going to take to win it all, though. And if we can beat a team like them, I feel like we can beat anybody. Syracuse and St. Joe's don't scare me on the other side of the bracket. But what I'm honestly worried about the most is we get off to a good start and then we choke away the lead. Playing on an NBA court is going to be a little odd as well. Both of us are just missing these short shots. What if we pull up from NBA range? See, that's going to throw me off a ton. And they throw it down low. Are they going to get the first bucket? No, but it's a foul. It's okay. This guy's form is horrendous. I mean, there's no way he was hitting that shot. And as we draw a lot of attention, that's a three-point shot that we should be able to hit. We're clearly not shooting well so far. We gave them an open 3. But it's early on in this game. Don't panic. Go to your best player. With a good free throw, we could tie things up. That was still too early. It's okay, though. I'm not that panicked. In fact, we're going to take an open 3. And we actually would force a steal right after that. We got Ronaldo running the court and getting a bucket. As we sit here with about 9 seconds left on the shot clock, we're throwing it cross court. Why are you standing out at NBA range? It's going to end up being okay because we got some really good three-point shooters on this team. They're calling a timeout. But I just don't like that look, and we almost had a steal off of that inbounds play. We haven't been able to do that this entire video. Looks like they're going to dish it. They had an open shot, and that's even worse. It's a 3. Well, even though our offense clearly hasn't been the most effective in this game, it's our defense that I've really been a fan of. At the moment, UConn only is going to have 5 points, but I'm starting to see why they're a 3 seed. Their guards can't even shoot. Meanwhile, you got to think about our guards who can definitely pull up. We're not going to hit everything. There's a foul. No, we still have it. Roland, come on. 3rd time's the charm. I mean, that was just ridiculous. It is a defensive battle at the moment. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Trying to not give up the 3-pointer. Andrew guarding him tight, all over him. There we go. That's contested. What we're really looking for here is for a pick and roll to actually work out for us. And we just want to kick this one out. That's an open 3-point shot. As we drive, they are really collapsing down low. We're going to hold for one last shot. I really didn't want them to score here. But you know what? Maybe we shouldn't hold for one shot now if they're giving us an open lane. We're still up by 7. It's just a lot can change really fast. That is a great lay. And let's see if we can end this first half with a bucket. We're actually going to call a timeout. What I'm hoping for is we get it down low to Roland. He spins, he puts it up, and it is in. So there we go. It's going to be 17-10, and we're shooting about the same from the field as they are. This has been nice. We're not having to play as perfect as we had to last year to have a lead in some of these games. And just looking around on the court, I mean, they are giving us 3-point shots. However, we are also giving up some 3-pointers to them. So we're looking for a quick 2. Roland gets the board. He's blocked, but there's a foul. And that is the worst thing that could possibly happen. I mean, look at that release. We made a free throw with him. Wait, is it not that bad? We just have to be patient. I wasn't familiar with his release. No, it's that bad. I mean, I thought everything was just going perfect for us, but not after that. There's 4 minutes left. We're only up by 3. I mean, we're throwing cross-court passes. Holland, work it underneath. You have a 99 close shot for a reason. And truthfully, our defense has just fallen off until that block. What we really need, though, is a 3-point shot. And it didn't fall while they almost did. Here's the plan, though. We keep on getting those one-on-one looks, and eventually they'll work. But we keep giving up 3-pointers, so I've decided we're going to guard everybody on their team very tight. I'm sick and tired of them just getting these open looks. They called a foul. But no need to worry. UConn has not been good from the line. And here we go. We're going to try and pull off a successful drive here. Maybe we get a corner look out of it. Our shots are still falling, but we can't leave him open or give up the board. Hang on. We got the steal. We got the steal. Okay, I think this is where we messed up against West Virginia last year. We weren't patient, and there was a look at a 3-pointer we could have taken, but we're not going to. Except, hang on, I'm a little greedy. You see over there on O'Hara? We're taking this. We're taking this. I mean, he's our best 3-point shooter. Come on. It is what it is. Live by the 3. die by the 3. It rims out. Call for the quick pick and roll. And we're actually going to get in, draw so much attention. We should have taken the layup there. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Get it over. Get it over. Just throw it up. I mean, that wasn't a good look. We just couldn't get the buttons right there. We can't give up this 3. We can't give up a 3. Just like that, they're going to start fouling us. And we're actually going to take out O.J. O'Hara because Roast has a 90 free throw. But we couldn't get it to him. It's with our point guard, and he missed. They're also going to have an open 3, but they missed another shot. We can't give up the rebound there, boys. Obviously, they're going to foul. And free throws could actually be the reason that we lose this game. Okay, we made the first one. Second one is also in. So we're back up by 5. We know the drill. Don't give up a 3. And we're good at that. We're fine. However, Holland got fouled. So we had to shoot a free throw with our power forward. And they just had that one rim out. But again, they get it back. Where is Roast? 90 free throw. This is who we want here. It's a trap. It's a trap. Call a timeout. Call a timeout. Okay, point of emphasis, shot selection. Maybe that'll help our free throw. And this is really starting to get scary. They almost stole that inbound. But here we go. We put in our closer to hit free throws. I just knew nothing about his release. If we miss this shot, UConn has a chance to tie things up and send it to overtime. With the 3, is that in? It is in. It's a perfect release. I've never been more happy to hit a free throw because unless we like foul them on the 3-pointer, which we're not going to do, we're literally backing everybody away. It is over. We're headed back to the Elite 8 where I don't know who we're going to face, but I like our odds. We only had 5 points with Roland as well. He had more rebounds than points, so we got to improve that. It looks like St. Joe's fell to Syracuse as a 5 seed, and do we simulate this game? That's the real question. Do I really want to put our season in the hands of fate with these seniors? I don't think so. However, I also just saw how close it was against UConn, and theoretically we should be favored here. I don't know if I can even back out from the screen. I guess we're just stuck doing it. We won by a point. Okay, I should probably never do that again. Arizona is a 4 seed, made it to the Elite 8 on this side of the bracket, but lost to Washington. So that is who we're going to be playing. Duke has already made the national championship. It could have been 7 seeded Arizona State. We'd have a chance to get revenge against Duke, though, if we won. And that would be a storybook ending to this rebuild with Mississippi Valley State. We can't look past the Huskies, though. Headed into this game, they've lost 7 this season. We're trying to give them 8. And I want to try something here. I actually want to let them win this opening tip. My thought process is if we get a stop on their first possession, now we get the ball to start the second half. And what I want to get going immediately is some pick and roll game. Get the roll off, and that's a solid play. My fear, though, is Washington could have a very good shooter or somebody on this team that's just going to give us a headache. Mainly because they've been able to get here in the first place. It's been a while since we have faced a team that has a real star. But you know what? They might just be good all around, which is going to be hard to keep up with. It's our defense that is typically our best part about our team. At least in the games I hop into, O'Hara is going to take that 3. And I didn't care if we were going to get contested. It was just a smooth release. We might be able to force a steal here as well. Nope. They get it over to Yates. However, in the corner, they are just leaving O'Hara open. And we're going to sit here and try and trap Washington. We're going to hopefully force them into a mistake, but they're beating the press pretty well. Another jumper from a big man, it's not always going to go in. So far, this game has been a little bit more up-tempo for us. But I like the way that we're playing offensively so far, and we keep on getting these looks. What I tried to do on this possession, by the way, was I wanted to run some plays, but it just didn't work out. At the last second, we didn't draw a foul, shot clock violation, unfortunately. And then they go underneath and get a foul. They got a center that can shoot free throws, but we got an open Andrew just running down the court. At the end of this half, they were able to take a lead, but we have a look at 3 to get it ourselves, and that's going to be it. That means it is 16-14. And you know what? I've been so locked in, I've barely been speaking because this is tight. I haven't been able to figure out how they're doing it, but whenever they're on offense, they keep on getting these switches where they have open 3-pointers. And we're trying to trap now. We got a jump ball. That is great. But to get possession of it, we need one more. We get the steal anyway with Ronaldo. He runs for a 3-point shot. You know what? They're going to leave him open from the 3-point line. He'll eventually make one. And here we go, running the court. After we got a stop, we get a leg. We're on a really big run at the moment, which is why they called a timeout, and it helped them. But what I'm curious about is if they decided to stay in zone, and they did, we're just not always going to hit those looks. With about 3 minutes left, we're up by 4. though we had to grab that board. And we're just going to call for a pick and roll. We haven't done one of these in a bit. They were able to lock it up well. Andrew, one-on-one, not getting any separation there either. So I guess it's just time for quick ISO. Trying to cross over. Can we get a jumper? Or are we just going to have to put up a contested look? At least we were able to get the board. It's given us another lifeline to work it down low. But we know these free throws are not going to come easy. I do not feel comfortable with a 4-point lead. That is for sure. Can we at least hit one of these? Also, I need to figure out how to shake the screen for our opponents when they're shooting free throws. But there it is. All the momentum's on Washington's side. You saw the sixth man get activated. We really need a bucket here. And everything that has worked for us to score in the past is just going out the window. 3 seconds now. Just put up the shot. Put up the shot! Is that a violation? I swear, I'm like the least clutch player ever. They're going to drive, and it's a charging foul. To just stand there and take it is an honorable thing to do. Now we can get 30 seconds off of this clock. What we really want, though, is we want that bucket. Are they going to fold on Holland or not? Kick it out. Hit the three. Hit the three, Andrew. Hit the three. We got it. Championship hopes are alive, and I'm feeling better than ever. We've only scored 25 points. We're still going to have to hit free throws most likely, though, especially if they can get a bucket here. That's what I would like to just avoid entirely. And we have our free throw shooting lineup out there, but we miss. Well, they would run down the court, hit an open shot, and this is where Roast needs to start hitting. I don't love his form. I can remember that, but he is not going to hit there. And hang on, Werner, we'll see what he does. I think we're still just in the bonus. What was that? It's okay. You know what? It worked out for at least one shot. We grab another board, but I think we all know we are not hitting one of these. Never mind. We somehow got a perfect release on one of them. Washington going for a quick two is really all they should do. But their issue is now we should hit one of these two. This is actually so bad. This is so embarrassing. It rims out. We got it. We got it. But I think we're going to miss some more free throws as well. I don't care we got one perfect release with him. They're going to have a chance to hit a three-pointer. Oh, that's an early release too. Another board. Another board. I put our point of emphasis on rebound accidentally during one of those timeouts. I don't know if that matters. And I also don't know if the Huskies have any timeouts left. There's just no shot. Okay, we're good. We're good. They don't even get it off. I mean, there at the end, we dominated on the rebounding front. And it is the only reason that we won. We just went 2 of 14 from the free throw line. We also shot worse from the field than they did. We had more turnovers, but look at those total rebounds. 8 offensive rebounds to their 0, 18 total rebounds to their 9. So with that, we are headed to the national championship with a chance to get revenge against Duke, one of the 2 teams that beat us this year. I have to say, if we make it this far and then lose, that's going to be so heartbreaking. But either way, I think we'll be able to overcome. It's becoming more and more clear to me that winning a national championship with Mississippi Valley State isn't as impossible as I thought it was going to be. And take a look at this center that we're going to be going up against for this tip. There's no way that this is who's going to be on Roland all game. Well, it actually is him. It's him. We're going to have this to work the entire time. We're probably not going to be putting up many threes then, as long as we can get some defensive stops. I'm actually feeling kind of confident. And once again, oh, he's going to get blocked, but we got it and one. Not really good news for shooting the free throw. Just a slightly early release goes in. And as we set a pick here, we're going to come off of that clean to draw a foul. We're actually getting to the line a decent bit. And so far, so good. Trying to pull off a little trap here as well. We almost had that steal, but now we just got to get back on defense. And if they're not going to stick closer on O'Hara, we're going to get it to him and immediately rip. Now, they've kept on trying to run pick plays to get this kid open against Holland, but we've done a really good job at preventing that from happening. Few seconds left on the shot clock. Just don't let them rebound. And there it is underneath. Roland goes to work, and he's got it. However, we got switched up and left them open. I don't know what happened there, but Roland is going to get blocked, and I'm not giving up. I am telling you right now, that is a huge mismatch. And it's not like we even have a large center. I think he's like 6'10", getting out in transition. Come on, Ronaldo. That's a foul. If he hits both his free throws, we're going to have a 10-point lead. But I did notice Duke made a substitution at center. I don't know if this new guy is going to be much better, but he did at least make us pause for a second, think about what we were doing. Why are we all bunched up? There it is, down low. We're going to work. Got the pump fake off, but we miss. And they're also getting an open look at 3. This new kid comes in, gets the board and 2 more. So there's their lifeline to get right back in this game. At least we got Holland. I really don't like running zone on defense either. I don't know why we are. I mean, I know that I've set us to go man-to-man, and this is a mismatch. We only have a couple seconds left on the shot clock, but I found it. At the moment, we're going to be headed into this half up 20-10. We're trying to stay close enough to stop that 3. Can we get off one final shot as well? Kick it back to our point guard. He misses. But there were very few things that we could have done better in that first half. Looking at some of these stats, we're shooting 23% better from the field. We've hit all of our free throws. We've got more rebounds, no turnovers. But it took 5 seconds in the second half to send them to the line, and they missed both free throws. Roland is also going straight back to facing off against the guy that couldn't guard him in the first half. We're dishing that to O'Hara. He grabs the board over his head and gets the foul. Roland, is he going to hit from the line? Most likely not, but he does. And there's no way that Greenleaf thinks he's going to do anything against us there. This is the problem. Duke doesn't have a center. They have 2 power forwards. They're going to try and switch into zone, I think, but that just gives us open 3-pointers. But eventually, they did find the exact guy that they want guarding, and it works. If Daly takes us at center, though, then we can just use Holland, hopefully. We'll see. We got to get the board first. And there it is. So Daly picks up Holland. He still fell for the pump, but he's only capable of guarding one of our 2 big guys. 3-second violation. That's the worst thing that could have happened there. I just figured out how to do a quick post up. And there it is. We got him. Pump fake. Easy too. I'm telling you right now, if you're going to go back and play 2K8, make sure that you recruit some good big men, because a lot of the computer teams, they just don't seem to have those roles filled as much because there's not that many centers out there, which is why I got nervous when we saw like Alcorn State at one point had one of the best centers in the country. This game is still not over though. Luckily, didn't hit that 3, and we're going to try and respond with one ourselves. They're able to contest it though, and it does not matter. That's our best 3-point shooter. So Duke has got to start panicking, and they're still not making it, which is great news for us. Meanwhile, looks like Roland has the guarding mismatch that they were hoping for. So now we just go over to Holland. He's on the defender that's supposed to be guarding our center, and he fouled. I think Greenleaf is the worst player that Duke could have on the court right now. They don't have the size, but they need to be hitting 3-pointers, not just giving us the ball back. They let us steal it away, and actually, we're going to hang on to it for a while. We're just going to run out the rest of this clock. Well, there is nothing sweeter than winning the national championship 35-17. Is this all we get? A newspaper? Don't we get like a trophy celebration or something? I'm a little surprised. I want to see us cut down the nets or something, but I'm not sure if we're going to get that. Roland deserved player of the game, and we're in the studio. Where's our celebration? We just won it all. Come on, 2K. That's actually really disappointing, but you know what? This is a game from 2007, and it scratched that itch that I had been waiting to fill. College basketball is back. I'm so excited for March Madness. And I don't think we're ever going to win an award like Player of the Year or anything. Even Mid-Major Player of the Year going to a kid at Western Kentucky. We didn't win Coach of the Year, which is just crazy to me. But a lot of these awards are just going to bigger schools. And of course, contract had to be renewed for 7 years. I think the best part about all of this is we finally had 3 players that are going to enter the draft. I'm not sure we get to find out where they went or what round, but we put 3 players to the NBA. And this rebuild really took a lot less seasons than I was imagining, but I think it's because we played in such a weak conference that it was easy to guarantee getting to the tournament every year. At last, we have to walk around in our trophy room before the video's over and see the things that we accomplished. These are our Coach of the Year awards for being Coach of the Year in our conference. Then we have our team trophies. I thought that you could click on this and actually see what each one of these was, but I don't think this is updated yet because I can't find the national championship one. I advanced to the college season though, hoping that I could find it, and then I realized that it was sitting here in the middle of the room this entire time. Of course, this is where it's going to be on display. I just think this is a really neat way to do the trophy room where it's something interactive where you can find out more information from every year. And like even with our Freshman of the Year award, we can find out the player. I wish you could see some of their season stats. Anyway, that's going to do it for this college basketball rebuild. If you want to see me do it with another team on this game, let me know in the comments who you want to see. I think I have to play more college hoops 2K8. This is far more fun to me than NCAA basketball 10, and I hope you all enjoyed.